Welcome back to Arlington as the Baylor Bears take the field, ranked 5th in the nation, highest ranking ever for this program. And this is Fox College football presented by Kay Jewelers. Now let's go downstairs to Christina Pink.
All right, Coach, with Baker Mayfield getting the start tonight, does Davis Webb now become your #2 quarterback?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the game's going. We got Michael ready to go, so we'll see how the game progresses.
Okay, Coach, now how do you slow down their offense?
I have no idea. We got to play hard, play our responsibilities, but they're a great offense, so it's going to be a big challenge.
Okay, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at the series history. Texas Tech leads, but Baylor has won the last two, 52-45 in overtime in 2012. Before that, Texas Tech had won 15 straight. 4 of the last 5 meetings have been decided by 7 points or less. Texas Tech won the toss. They will receive the football. Cliff Kingsbury, last year, he was Johnny Manziel's offensive coordinator at Texas A&M. He's in his first year. Team is trying to dig themselves out of a hole. They've lost 3 in a row. Meanwhile, Art Briles just got a 10-year contract extension. Wise decision by the Baylor department because he's the kind of coach you don't want going anywhere.
He's on the field in pregame, Gus, and was talking with an NFL scout. You know what he said? If I'm going to go get someone, if the league's sniffing after someone, it should be Art Briles. Terrific job by the Baylor administration locking up their coach.
So Jakeem Grant, Bradley Marquez ready to return the football for Texas Tech. And sending it away for Baylor, Aaron Jones. Last week, Texas Tech lost to Kansas State 49-26 in Lubbock. The Red Raiders gave up more than 277 yards rushing for the 3rd straight game. Meanwhile, Baylor beat Oklahoma in Waco 41-12. Bryce Petty threw 3 touchdowns and ran for 2 more. Great atmosphere here at Jerry's World in Arlington, right outside of Big D. We're deep in Big 12 country, folks. We've got the #5 team in the nation ready to get busy. Baylor, Texas Tech, and here we go. This one kicked out of the end zone, and the Red Raiders will start from the 25. So let's take a look at our high-performance players.
For Texas Tech, Jason Morrow, the tight end, has been the best tight end in the nation so far this season. Eric Ward quietly, 7 100-yard games this season. For Baylor, Chris McAllister is their sack master, 5.5 sacks this season, and Ahmad Dixon allows him to morph into any coverage. He can play safety. He looks like a linebacker at times. Number one thing, he will make plays on the football.
So Baker Mayfield, a walk-on freshman from Austin, Texas, started the first 5 games. Injured his left knee versus Kansas on October 5th. Lost the job, but came in with 5 minutes left last week for Davis Webb. 1st and 10 at the 25, and he'll throw on 1st down, incomplete. Ball intended for Bradley Marquez.
Mayfield, true freshman, one of 2 true freshmen who have played quarterback this year for Texas Tech. Be interesting to see if he can get off to a quick start. And if he doesn't, will Cliff Kingsbury go to the hook as he did last week, bringing Mayfield in for Davis Webb.
And Mayfield on the play action fake, under pressure, gets it off and incomplete. Remember, he came in with 5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. After Davis Webb started slowly, he ended up completing 34-44 for close to 300 yards.
Watch the pressure from the interior. Bo Blackshear, number 95, the first guy to flush Baker Mayfield, made him move and shuffle his feet, unable to get set and complete the pass.
3rd down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Mayfield out of the shotgun as he looks to the sideline. And here's Mayfield to throw, looking near side, and he has his tight end, Jason Morrow, makes the catch, picks up the 1st down on a big 3rd down and 10. He'll get 11.
And let's see if they go a little bit quicker. Now they picked up the initial 1st down of the game. Amaro, a tremendous target, having a monster season.
Quickly to the line of scrimmage, Kenny Williams running straight ahead with room, still on his feet. A whirling dervish. Kenny Williams junior from Pflugerville, Texas, a 9-yard gain.
And this is something Tech will have to do all night long. Run the football enough to keep Baylor's attention so they can't just totally load up on the outside receivers.
Opening series for Texas Tech. Here's the handoff. Kenny Williams running right, picks up the first down. So what has happened to Texas Tech? They started 7-0. They were ranked 10 in the BCS, but they've lost 3 straight games. What's happened to this team?
Couple of things happened. Number one, the schedule got tougher. They went up to Oklahoma and had a tough time. Number two, defensively, unable to slow anyone down running the football. Teams are averaging over 275 yards a game in the last 3 games running the ball against Tech. And number 3, injuries. They've been dinged a lot on the defensive side of the football especially.
First down and 10 now at the 48 for Texas Tech. Baker Mayfield starting tonight. Here's Kenny Williams. And Williams with running room once again. Tell you what, Kenny Williams looks like that kid I saw at UCLA last night. Jack. They're going to start calling him the Jackhammer.
Let me tell you something. If Miles Jack had started playing both ways earlier in the season, he would be a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate because he's playing very well on defense, and the offense is incredible. Lanyap on top.
Second down and 5. This one incomplete, intended for Jakeem Grant. Just couldn't haul it in. He was in first down range, and that'll bring up third down and 5.
Keep an eye here on Baylor's defense and see if they walk their corners up on the outside receivers to play press man. If so, Amaro becomes easily your #1 target, working inside against the nickelback safeties and linebackers.
Amaro, the slot receiver at the bottom of your screen. Here's Mayfield. Steps up in the pocket, wants to run it close to the first down, and he'll get it. Or will he? It depends on the spot. Eddie Lackey with the tackle.
I think it's a little bit short, but I think they'll go for it here. With the way things have gone with this season, the loss of 3 in a row, Cliff Kingsbury wants to show his team he still has confidence in them and wants an early spark.
So on 4th down and 1, the Red Raiders electing to go for it. Kenny Williams lines up in the backfield with Baker Mayfield.
And I wouldn't run it here, Gus. I'd throw it if I'm Texas Tech.
And they will. He rolls out on the money, first down. Jordan Davis checked in on 4th down, and he's got glue on those fingertips. First down, Texas Tech.
The reason I said throw it, not run it, know what your personality is as a program. 4th and short, you're really not a jackhammer, move people off the line of scrimmage team. You're much better moving the pocket as they did. Bayfield with a short throw picks up the first down.
First down and 10 of the 39 of Baylor. Here's Mayfield. Scrambling out of the pocket, throws on the run, incomplete. That ball intended for Eric Ward, the senior from Wichita Falls, Texas.
Dimitri Goodson, number 3 in the coverage there. Gus, you probably remember him from Gonzaga, a point guard there, a starting point guard for that Bulldogs going to the NCAA tournament. Changed over to football because he thought he had a better chance of an NFL career than he did an NBA career.
Second down and 10 of the 39, 11th play of the drive that started at the Tech 25-yard line. Empty backfield for Mayfield. He'll let it fly quickly underneath Davis with the grab in heavy traffic as he's ridden down by Terrell Burt. But he gains, let's say, 3.5 on the play. Third down and 7. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Baylor showing blitz.
See if they check out of it now. Phil Bennett, their defensive coordinator, orchestrating from the sideline.
Here's Mayfield. Looks far side. Incomplete. No flag on the play. Bradley Marquez, the intended receiver. And it looks like he may have been held up by K.J. Morton.
He's got a nice hand and jersey on the inside. They missed that one. That's one where you had to make, you really needed to throw the flag because of Morton grabbing all that cloth and impeding the progress of Marquez downfield. K.J. Morton got away with that one.
So Texas Tech will throw caution to the wind. Cliff Kingsbury, remember folks, he's only 34 years old. He's not experienced enough to be nervous on 4th down and 7.
And there's Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator, who has all the experience, and he's experienced enough to be nervous on 4th down here because you never know what Cliff Kingsbury might do.
Now Tech decides to call a timeout on 4th down and 7. And we'll stay right here. Great atmosphere, folks. This actually feels like a bowl game. The pageantry of college football in full display.
And when this series began, when they started taking it off campus and moving it here to the Metroplex, that's one of the things that Art Briles sold his team on, because Baylor wasn't used to going to bowls at that time. Guys, this is what a bowl atmosphere will be like. This will be like a bowl game. This is what we want to get to each and every year. Now, 4 straight seasons, right, is what we're talking about. Baylor going to bowls now when you add this year in. Guess what? Not the same now. Now they want bigger and better. This should be normal for the Baylor Bears now.
Baylor coming into this football game undefeated, 8-0, 5-0 in Big 12 play. Their season about to get tougher with Texas Tech here, Oklahoma State next week. They'll wrap it up with Texas at the end of the year. TCU sandwiched in between, 4th and 7.
I think they're going to go after him.
Baker Mayfield. Sideline, incomplete, and a flag. That time they got the Bears. Dimitri Goodson will be called for pass interference.
And I know there's no such thing as makeup calls, but if it was close, they were going to get it.
The pass, holding, number 3, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic, first out.
To the total outside of your picture, to the left side of your screen, 18 in white is Eric Ward. Goodson wraps him up, holds him, makes it easy for the official to throw the flag.
So Cliff Kingsbury says, way to go, boys. First down at the 26-yard line. Here's Sadale Foster with running room. Sadale Foster inside the 10-yard line. A 20-yard gain.
What an excellent move by Sadale Foster to make the first tackler miss and allowed him to get to the edge and vault his way towards the end zone. As we look at the red zone offense now, 20 field goals, way too many for Texas Tech. They've got to think 6 and 6 alone on this drive.
So first down and goal at the 6. Opening series for Texas Tech. Mayfield throws the fade in the corner. And Marquez can't get up to get it. K.J. Morton there defensively.
One thing we've learned early in this game, the Baylor corners will be physical. They will give up a couple of calls if they have to, but that doesn't seem like they're going to back off. So if you're the Texas Tech wide receivers, you got to think about every route you run. You have to be as physical, if not more, muscling up for the football.
Second down and goal to the 6. 15th play of the drive. Mayfield gives it up. Williams throws. Amaro. Touchdown, Tech. Abracadabra.
This is the second time we've seen this as a crew, Gus. Remember Oklahoma? Kenny Williams threw the pass to Eric Ward at Oklahoma. In this situation, Jason Morrow works his way free. After they thought it was a run, everyone sucks up from the secondary. And look at Morrow getting that foot down, inbounds for the initial score of the game. Yeah, a lefty thrower on the play. They went to the left. Left-handed throw by Williams. Second touchdown pass of the season for him.
Extra point up and good. 11:02 to play in the first quarter. Texas Tech on their opening series. Started from the 25, marched it all the way down the field to Pater. Art Briles says, it's our turn now. Fox College Football is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee, built free. All right, coming into tonight, Baylor is trailed for just 7 minutes and 13 seconds this season. Texas Tech on a wonderful opening drive, 15 plays, 75 yards. Amaro with the 6-yard touchdown catch.
About the 2 fourth downs they picked up. Remember what their motto is for the season. Fortune favors the bold, and they were indeed that on their first drive.
Norwood and Fuller back deep for Baylor. And the Bears will get a chance to return. Here's Clay Fuller. And Fuller with a hold. He'll dive forward over the 25 up to the 27-yard line. And let's go to Patrick O'Neal in Los Angeles, where Lowe's never stopped improving game rate.
Just an incredible game going on between Georgia and Auburn. After the Bulldogs have taken the lead, last chance for Auburn, 4th and 18. Nick Marshall, Hail Mary. The defender doesn't knock the ball down. Ricardo Lewis somehow catches it. 73-yard touchdown, but now Georgia has a chance with 3 seconds left. Incredible. Right now, it is Auburn with the lead. Gus and Charles.
All right, thank you very much, Patrick.
Auburn Tigers still trying to track to win the SEC West. Remember, they get Alabama at home the last week of the season.
So first down and 10 for Bryce Petty and the Baylor Bears. And he'll play fake. Petty swings it out to Shock Linwood, and incomplete. Let's take a look at our high-performance players.
Antoine Goodley is the #1 receiver now with the loss of Tevin Reese. He may play some running back tonight. Shock Linwood, 182 yards against Oklahoma. Justice Nelson will start on the corner for Texas Tech tonight.
And this time the ball complete to Levi Norwood. And Norwood still running, and he'll get inside Texas Tech territory. A 26-yard gain. Brandon Jackson finally brings him down.
If there was ever a team that could absorb the loss of a great receiver such as Tevin Reese, it's Baylor. They have playmakers all over the field.
Play fake. Petty again. He'll bring it down, wants to run it, and gets back to the line of scrimmage. So Bryce Petty, a junior. He's backed up RG3 and Nick Florence the past 2 seasons. He threw just 14 passes in 11 career games before this season began. 2nd and 10 at the 47. And some movement. That's the right guard, Kelvin Palmer.
Well, start. Number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
One thing to keep in mind, you've noted it, Gus, number 5 in the country is Baylor. Slightly unfamiliar territory for them. Actually, very much unfamiliar territory. They're playing with the pressure of being the front runner now, not the team that's doing the hunting.
Correction, Kelvin Palmer, the right tackle. Tight end lined up on his side of the ball. 2nd and 15 at the 48. Petty, quick release. And knocked away. Terrific defense by the Red Raiders. Bruce Jones.
Watch Bruce Jones just read the quarterback. He saw the quarterback's drop in and cock his arm, and he took the shot and fired and knocked the pass away.
3rd down and 15. Baylor needs to go to the Tech 37 for a first down. Here's Petty. Under pressure. And incomplete. Texas Tech brought the heat. Kerry Hyder getting to the quarterback. And Baylor will punt it away.
Left side of your screen. Kerry Hyder coming with Pete Robertson. Here he is hitting Bryce Petty. Last week, Texas Tech was flat and uninspired in their game against Kansas State. You think the coaches didn't get after them a little bit this week? They're coming out with a much better effort tonight. And remember, nothing to lose Texas Tech side. They've lost 3 in a row. They just want to reverse their fortunes.
Spencer Roth punting from the 34. Jordan Davis back deep. He'll let it take a bounce and bounce out of bounds around the 10-yard line. So Jay Zamaro, the All-American tight end, already has a touchdown. He and the Red Raiders back right after this. You know, Tech won 15 consecutive games over the Bears from 96 to 2010. During that stretch, Baylor was outscored by 382 points. Texas Tech's offense outgained Baylor an average of 198 yards a game, and the average score of those games was 42 to 18. However, Baylor has won the last 2. First down and 10 at the 11-yard line now for the Red Raiders. Foster in motion out of the backfield. Mayfield, quick release underneath. And this ball is caught, and they advance across the 10-yard line.
Dylan Cantrell, a backup wide receiver, starting to get a little extra playing time.
So Cantrell will trot off the field. 2nd and 7 at the 14 after the 3-yard gain. Here's Mayfield again, looking near side. Oh, he put that one right between the numbers, folks, to Eric Ward. A frozen rope from Mayfield, and it's a gain of 10 and a first down.
You can tell this Texas Tech staff did not spend all week beating down these kids. They propped up their confidence, told them they still believed in them, and they've come out aggressively tonight.
Now Mayfield wants to run it, squeezes through the hole, and picks up 4. Eddie Lackey with the tackle.
Gus, you know what it's like. You've been around when you've seen a 3-game losing streak, and the head coach now, oh, you guys are terrible. You're not doing enough. Cliff Kingsbury and his staff have not done that with this Texas Tech team. He knew they were in a fragile state emotionally. They have not played well in October and November in the last 3 seasons. He needed to give them confidence. Tonight, they're playing with that confidence.
So it brings up 2nd down and 6 at the 28-yard line. Second series for Texas Tech. They scored on their opener, going 15 plays. Now Mayfield slings it out. DeAndre Washington. And he's wrestled down shy of the 30-yard line.
Good pursuit inside out. That's Bryce Hager, number 44, the linebacker who should be considered for All-American, as well as Ahmad Dixon, the safety.
Third down and 6 at the 28. There's Amaro. Hager guarding him. It looks like one-on-one.
Watch the corners of Baylor, see if they walk up and try and play press man to force you to throw it to the inside receivers.
Mayfield winds up and caught by Marquez. Was he in bounds? Yes, he was. Bradley Marquez with the agility of a ballerina here as he tight ropes the sideline.
And they did walk up on the press coverage, and Marquez, what he did downfield was what they call uncovered himself and made himself available.
Now DeAndre Washington running, but Marquez picked up 28. Hager with the tackle.
Nice route, nice throw on that last big pickup to Marquez. Morton was stride for stride. Marquez found an extra year and got away and presented a nice target for Mayfield to drop the ball into.
The replay pagers went off after the snap. The previous pass play is no longer reviewable. 2nd down.
You got to get the review in before the next play, what they want to see. Was he in bounds? Certainly looked like his foot was in. You know, if that had been an NFL game, he would have had a 2nd foot in. So, well done by Bradley Marquez.
Marquez with the 28-yard reception. Last week against Kansas, he had 5 catches for 38 yards.
And overall, he's been quiet in recent weeks. He wants to break out this evening.
Mayfield decides to run. He's got room. Look at the freshman moving and grooving. A 19-yard gain for the walk-on. Ahmad Dixon finally brings him down.
And when he made up his mind to run, he ran with a purpose. He wasn't running looking to get down. He wasn't running waiting to be tackled. He ran to get everything he could out of that sprint.
So they've had gains of 28 and 19 on this drive. 1st and 10 at the Baylor 20. Mayfield, play fake. Looking for Ahmad. Touchdown! Uh-oh, folks. The number 5 team in the nation got trouble. Texas Tech, all business to start this one, and they've got a chance to take a 2-touchdown lead.
Watch Amaro right here. He runs a pro route. It's called a stick nod. Stick there. Nod to the inside. And look at Mayfield put it right on him. Amaro has spent a lot of time in recent weeks working with Eric Moore's inside receivers coach, watching NFL tight ends run their routes. It sure paid off on that one. That looked like a next-level play.
Ryan busting in to attempt the extra point, and it's good. Texas Tech scoring on their first 2 drives of the game. Baker Mayfield pitching. Jason Morrow catching. 14 shape. Tech. So Jason Morrow with his 2nd touchdown of the game last week against Kansas State. He had 9 catches for 67 yards. What a start for him right now. Baker Mayfield also terrific on the drive.
I think you see why Cliff Kingsbury made the switch to go back. The ability of Baker Mayfield to run the ball and move around in the pocket has caused all sorts of problems for Baylor in the early going.
This one caught on the goal line by Clay Fuller. Fuller with the lane. Fuller trying to get outside, turns on the Jets. Fuller gets to the 40 and finally upended around the 43-yard line. So Bryce Petty will have great field position to start. Remember, Petty and the Bears can score points in bunches. Back to Jerry's World right after this.
On my right is the new Dodge Durango with up to 360 horsepower. On my left is one horse with one.
So back here at AT&T Stadium, one of the great stadiums in not only America, Charles, but the world. I mean, this place is spectacular. It's a bucket list place.
Truly magnificent. And you know the big screen up the top that draws your eyes there everywhere? Do you know why that got put in?
Why?
Because Jerry Jones was at a Celine Dion concert and saw her perform with a magnificent screen and said, you know something? I want something like that for my stadium. And that's why this screen was put in this stadium. Jerry Jones, Celine Dion concert, which turns into one of the best sporting moves ever made in a stadium.
Now, that's a great story, but I think I've got one to top it.
I know you do. Hit it.
All right. Jerry Jones and his wife was given the job of putting a certain kind of granite in the stadium.
Yeah.
So she ordered it from Italy. And Mr. Jones wasn't at the top of the list. He said, hey, I'll pay extra money for it. So Gene, his wife, wanted it. Mr. Jones said, hey, I'll pay extra money for this granite, but he couldn't get to the top of the list. So what did he do? He bought the company in Italy, got to the top of the list, got his granite, then sold the company and made money.
For profit.
My man.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how it's done.
That's right. From the 43. And they'll hand it off. There's Chuck Linwood running. Helmets flying. A lot of hard hitting going on. Kerry Hyder will have to come off the field for a play.
And let's see if Baylor goes back and presses the run a little bit more on this series. Everyone looks at them and says they are a pass team first. Well, you look at their stats, they throw for 390 yards a game. But guess what? They run for 295 yards per game. They set the tone by running the football.
And some movement on that right side again. It's Kelvin Palmer, the second time he's jumped.
Number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Kelvin's got to settle in now. That's the second time he's had that type of a movement in the big ball game. Kelvin Palmer began as a defensive tackle at Baylor, was a center when they started spring practice, but they had an injury with Troy Baker, the starting right tackle, and they had to shuffle the offensive line, and Palmer moved there.
But how about Art Briles and what he's been able to do as the head coach at Baylor, coming over from Houston?
You know something, it's kind of a Kansas State-like story in terms of resurrecting Baylor football like Bill Snyder did with the Kansas State Wildcats.
On second down, Linwood again. And Linwood picks up a first down and gets to the Tech 40. A 17-yard pickup. Trey Porter had to grab an ankle.
And now they'll move a little bit quicker. Big first down off of the running play. Linwood, 182 yards against Oklahoma as the third running back that night. Tonight's his first start.
Petty on a play fake. Underneath, caught. This time it's Norwood. Breaks it inside. And the Bears are on the board. 40 yards. And just like that, Baylor marching it down and scoring with 6:05 to go in the first. It took them 52 seconds.
Watch Norwood. He's the second receiver in at the top of the screen. Just a simple seam route, but it came off of play action. After the big run by Linwood, they were able to come back and play action, the fake run, throw the ball downfield, and Norwood takes it the distance.
Levi Norwood, a junior from State College, Pennsylvania, had 4 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown against OU last week. This time he goes 40 the hard way, and we've got a 14-7 game in Arlington. Back after this. Fox College Football is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. By the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and Galaxy Gear. And by Allstate Insurance. Proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands? At the top of our broadcast, folks, we told you that this had the chance to be an explosive offensive game. Well, how about this? We've had 243 yards of offense in 9 minutes, and we're just getting going. So Baylor scoring in less than a minute. They'll send it away. Aaron Jones to kick it. Jakeem Grant, Bradley Marquez back deep. And this one will sail out of the end zone. Now tonight, Fox Sports Live will bring you all the scores and highlights from a full day of college football, college basketball, the NBA, and the NHL, plus all the news from around the world of sports. Fox Sports Live is tonight only on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com now.
Well, they won't have any problem finding highlights from this game and trying to figure out which play is the one. Take a look here. Texas Tech ball control. 23 plays, 6 minutes and 44 seconds of possession. Baylor gets 7 points. And look at that. 2 minutes, 11 seconds of possession. Can the Baylor defense, which has played so well all year, can they get back in gear starting with this possession?
First down and 10 to the 25, and a timeout called by Tech. And we'll take a quick break. 6:05 to go, first quarter, 14-7. Red Raiders. Third series for Texas Tech. In their opener, they went 15 plays, covering 75 yards, ate up close to 4 minutes as Amaro scored. And then they went 8 plays, 89 yards, in 2:46. Amaro again underneath. They find Sadale Foster, a flag on the play. Jamal Palmer wrapping him up.
Baylor has substituted their entire defensive line. They're all number 2s on the field right now.
And I tell you what, as you take a look at the 2 officials there, these officials have been in the weight room.
Yeah, Scott Campbell, the umpire there.
Look at these guys.
All right, and that's the referee, Alan Eck.
Holding, number 93, defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. The penalty results in the first down.
And that's Suleiman Masumbuko. I take it back. He's actually a starter. He's the only one I see on the field now. You look at the penalty situation, 4 of them. Maybe he was trying to hold up someone trying to get out in a route, and that's what they caught the hold for.
First down and 10 to the 35.
You're right.
Previous play was a completed pass. The game clock and play clock will start on my signal. First down.
You're right about the officials, though, Gus. They match each other for set in the weight room, aren't they?
I tell you, you don't want to argue with those guys.
Somewhere,
for sure.
Somewhere Ed Hockley, if he's watching, he's like, yeah, but you haven't worked out with me.
First down and 10 to the 35 for Tech. Play fake. Mayfield. Scrambling. Mayfield. And he just gets rid of it. And that's what you like from Baker Mayfield. That's what he brings to this offense for Cliff Kingsbury.
That mobility, the ability to escape pressure, and he had to really get on the good foot there because Andrew Billings, the freshman, number 75, was in hot pursuit. Does Andrew Billings look like a guy who broke the state high school powerlifting record? That agility did not suggest a guy who was squatting 800 pounds.
Second and 10, and they run the reverse. Jakeem Grant. Mayfield, look at him throw a block, but they won't go far because the Bears sniffed it out. Said, no, not here. K.J. Morton stayed home.
Watch to the backside of your screen. K.J. Morton reads it the whole way, never over pursues, forces it inside, and makes the tackle. Terrific play as you diagnose, Gus, by K.J. Morton.
A loss of 1, third down and 11. Baylor defense starting to wake up now. They would love nothing more than to get off the field for the first time. against this Tech offense, who scored on their first 2 series. Mayfield delivers up the sideline. Whoa! And he has it at the 35. Baker Mayfield pitching pennies, folks. Eric Ward.
And what a route by Ward, because downfield, Ward was able to see the ball before the defensive back and make the cut inside and make a play on the football and complete the pass.
That's a gain of 29. Kenny Williams. And Williams with the leg drive. They won't bring him down. Still moving. Pushing the pile forward. That's a gain of 5 yards.
Watch Eric Ward on the last play. He sees the football before the defensive back does. Able to slow the brakes and cut inside. Maybe a little well-positioned push in the back, too, to cut inside and make the catch. Eric Ward, a senior receiver, running that route with intelligence.
2nd down and 5 at the 32. Mayfield again throws off his back foot to Davis. And he's got it at the 5.
And again, the defensive back does not locate the football until it's too late. Ahmad Dixon gets his head around, but the ball's already dropped in the bucket of Jordan Davis.
And here's Grant running. They lined him up as a tailback. Remember, Texas Tech has scored on their first 2 series of the game. They're trying to make it 3 in a row.
And they're going with their heavy lineup. Trey Keenan, number 93, is checked into the game, showing a bigger, stronger offensive line. But with Texas Tech, that's often an illusion. They show you a heavy lineup and then throw the ball.
Mayfield out of the gun. Looks in the corner. Incomplete. Dylan Cantrell was open. And Mayfield put a little too much on it.
They okey-doked him there, Gus. They showed the heavy run lineup with Keenan in the game, faked the run, and had Cantrell. He just overshot the mark a little bit.
3rd down and goal at the 6.
There's Amaro in the slot.
Split backfield. Mayfield will throw it again, lofts it up to Ward. Woo! What a catch! One hand! Young fella!
Watch how he fights at the top. Remember, I talked about how physical it would be with these corners from Baylor. They even had their hands all over K.J. Morton, and Ward used his body to keep Morton away from the football and haul it in with his free hand. One of the better catches you'll see all season.
3:25 to go in the first quarter. And Art Briles has that shocked look on his face. And a timeout called by Baylor. But Eric Ward, wow.
I wonder if they're calling timeout, hoping to get a look at this on replay. Let's see. Ward brings it in, goes to the ground. You see the ball move, but it stays in the body of Eric Ward. They called it a touchdown. I don't think they can overturn that. I think that he had plenty of possession. Ball hits with his arm, but I think that it stays within him. That ball is never lost. I think that's a touchdown that's going to stand. That's why I think they've got a timeout.
The rolling on the field is a completed pass for a touchdown. Baylor is challenging the rolling.
All right, let's go to our rules analyst in Los Angeles, former NFL official, Mike Pereira. Mike, your thoughts on this catch or no catch?
Well, I tell you what, I would hate to see replay take away a great play like this. And to me, he does have
Correction.
control.
Baylor elected to take a timeout. There is no challenge. Timeout, Baylor. Their first charge of the half. 30 seconds in length.
All right, Baylor will not challenge this play.
It's not a challenge, but the timeout still stands for them to look at it. So, Mike, what do you think?
And I think that's maybe they got to look at this last shot we showed them and decided not to challenge. But it in the rear end hits first, inbounds. The ball does move a bit, but you see that right hand is solidly on the ball, and he doesn't lose it. So great catch.
The play will stand. Thank you very much, Michael. And the extra point is up. And no good. He shanked it. Ryan Buston.
Unbelievable. They had a streak of 257 straight PAT snapped last week by a blocked extra point. And now they come back this week, and a second one missed in 2 weeks.
So with 3:25 to go in the first quarter, Texas Tech with a 20-7 lead as they go 8 plays covering 75 yards, scoring in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Now let's go back to Los Angeles for a quick game break.
All right, let's go to Columbia, where floor expert measures. Gators haven't lost 5 in a row since 1979. Gus and Charles?
Well, Patrick, we're seeing some of that here with Texas Tech. They've lost 3 in a row, didn't play well last week, and they decided, hey, we've got nothing loose, let it all hang out. I think Florida's playing the same way as South Carolina in the early going.
Look at the numbers, though, for Baker Mayfield. He started 3 of 9, now 9 of 11. As the Red Raiders will send it away. And this one will be down in the end zone by Clay Fuller. So let's take a look at the big picture, folks. This week in the BCS standings, Alabama remains at number 1 and Florida State remains at number 2. Ohio State jumps up to number 3. Stanford moves up 1 spot to number 4. Cardinal have USC. And Baylor climbs to number 5, their highest rank in school history.
And that's where the controversy, if you want to call it that, is kind of kicked in. Baylor behind a 1-loss Stanford team coming into tonight. That led to the debate. I know our colleagues talked about that in the pregame show. Eddie George, Joel Klatt. Joel got to see Baylor live and in person last Thursday. Obviously impressed. He thought they should be number 3. Eddie, of course, I'm not going to say he's an Ohio State grad, but he thought Ohio State should be number 3. It will all play out.
Here's Petty underneath, looking for his receiver, and it's incomplete. Antoine Goodley, the intended receiver. And nice defensive coverage by Bruce Jones, who bumped him.
And early in this game, Justice Nelson, number 31 for Texas Tech, is a true freshman starting on the corner. They have not been able to locate him and work on him very much in the early going.
Petty again. Incomplete. That one intended for Corey Coleman. And Ward may have gotten a fingertip on the football.
And he's a redshirt freshman who's just starting, I believe, his 3rd game in his young career. Excellent play inside, knocking it away.
Keenan Ward from Snyder, Texas. 3rd down, 10 of the 25. Baylor leads the nation, averaging just 1 over on 3 and outs. Here's Petty. Delivering. And nobody home. Closest man to the football, Clay Fuller, and the Bears are forced to punt it away.
And that was a safety, Trey Porter. Look at that, just the 13th 3 and out this season. The fewest in Division I football, the FBS. And Trey Porter, a safety, normally was on the coverage, pinned Fuller to the sideline, nowhere to place the football.
You surprised with this score?
I am, because I didn't expect Texas Tech to have this much success against Baylor's offense in the early going. Big credit to Matt Wallerstedt's defense of the Red Raiders.
Bears send it away, angled toward the near side, takes a bounce, a Baylor bounce, and finally will be down at the 10. Now, Fox Sports Supports is proud to partner with Johns Hopkins Medicine. Johns Hopkins is at the forefront of groundbreaking research into autoimmune disorders like multiple sclerosis and lupus. Join us in the fight against autoimmune disease. Donate by visiting hopkinsmedicine.org/Fox.
I think there was a little thought on that punt that maybe it might have touched the Texas Tech player trying to block, but it went through and did not touch it, so Tech be able to keep possession starting on their own 14-yard line.
First down from the 14 for Baker Mayfield, who's been terrific in this first quarter. Mayfield lines up. Looking for Marquez, incomplete. A flag on the play, though, near the line of scrimmage.
And as they look at this flag, you know what else has helped Baker Mayfield tonight, Gus? His receivers have come up big. They've made plays for him tonight, helped elevate their play in order to help a struggling football team.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 75, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay. First down.
So that's Jared Castor, the center. Let's see if someone is occupied with a pass rusher and he chops. Let's see. Yeah, what you've got is he's chopping back away from the play, first of all. And second, the back is starting to occupy and get engaged with the pass rusher, and he's chopping him from behind.
First down and 17 as they move it back to the 7. Mayfield, far side, and Grant got nailed. Woo! Sam Hall.
And this is the type of play that can elevate everyone else's play. It can help change your fortunes a little bit. Sam Hall, a safety last year, moved up closer to the line of scrimmage because of his ability to do just that, which is strike someone and put a blow on him. Comes up big for Baylor.
Makes it second down and 17 at the 7. Mayfield, pump fake, steps up, buys time, throws, and incomplete. Shaquem Grant close to the football. All season long.
Williams, now once he does that, now he gets the benefits of the wall. He makes a second one miss. That's the punter, Erkslaven, who was an all-state defensive end in high school.
Extra point good.
Set up for him with excellent cuts, excellent vision. His second punt return for a touchdown this season. And Bryce Petty, who was getting ready to come out in the field and lead his offense, hey, I'm cool with that. We'll take 6 without me coming back out on the field. Baylor firmly back into this football game. How about Norwood, the son of a coach? His dad on the staff here at Baylor, and he gets it done.
Norwood with a 40-yard touchdown reception. Now a 58-yard punt return. This young man from State College, Pennsylvania, showing out. And we still have a minute and 39 to go in the first quarter.
Gus, he originally was signed with Penn State. His dad was on the staff there. His dad took the job here at Baylor. Joe Paterno graciously let him out of his letter of intent to sign with his father at Baylor, followed him here, and has actually played on the Baylor basketball team in past years. A terrific athlete making huge plays this evening.
Aaron Jones to kick it away. Grant and Marquez back deep. And this will be Marquez from the 6. Marquez finally taken down to the 26-yard line. Orients. Front and down Kenny Williams. And Williams dragged down from behind by K.J. Morton, the senior from Warner Robins, Georgia. So another third down coming up for the Red Raiders. They need 7. They're 2 of 6 on third down conversions.
And this is a big one for them. They're losing momentum offensively now. Baylor's defense starting to assert itself. Tech needs a first down to try and get some of that momentum back.
Baker Mayfield in trouble. Mayfield. Oh, my goodness, what a throw. First down. How about that? Kenny Williams got open on a scramble, and Mayfield makes a play.
And the intelligence of Kenny Williams as a running back. He converted the route and went upfield, realized his quarterback was in trouble, came back, and set himself with enough distance to pick up a first down.
Now Williams running it. He'll run into a pile. My question to you, Charles, is you look at Baker Mayfield, and, you know, Davis Webb, who started a lot of games, played well. But Baker Mayfield, how does a kid like this end up a walk-on? How come a TCU or a Texas?
Well, he was holding out. The story is that he was holding out, wanting an offer from TCU. Didn't get it. Turned down Washington State. Turned down Rice, Florida Atlantic, some other schools, and then didn't have a place to go. That's how he turned it around.
What a play! K.J. Morton, did he hold on? Yes, he did! Out of nowhere! That's an athlete, folks! Wow! Incredible!
jump too high.
I've never seen that.
I can say that I've seen it before, but not to that level of athleticism. I saw it when I played. We had an outside linebacker, Dale Jones, who did it against Alabama in a huge win for my Tennessee Volunteers in Birmingham. But that athleticism, Morton climbs the ladder, and Williams, the running back, was there to block him, but he didn't get close enough to block him. That wasn't Williams' fault. He just never got there, and the ball stays in his mitts, and Baylor has it. Watch him try and strike fast.
Here's Petty to throw it. Looking in the end zone. Touchdown! Great call, partner. Antoine Goodley. These Bears have swagger. They're not your average Bears.
These are not your father's Bears by any stretch. The freshman Justice Nelson getting his first start on the corner. Antoine Goodley essentially just runs right past him. Play fake, Petty, ball delivered. Right now the game's tied, and
Baylor takes a 1-point lead. 4 seconds to go in the first. 21-20, Baylor.
now Antoine Goodley is built like your normal running back. Look at that physique. He squats 600 pounds, but he runs like a true wide receiver. And there's K.J. Morton happy that he provided the football for his offense. Bryce Petty pays it off for a terrific defensive play. And Gus, I think we could go back to a couple series ago. The big hit by Sam Hall on a pass. 2 plays later, Ahmad Dixon, another big shot. And Baylor has held and said not anymore for a while. And this game has started to turn.
Baylor jump around. 2 touchdowns in 1 minute and 33 seconds.
Kind of fitting after those hits we saw that the House of Pain comes on the loudspeaker, isn't it?
See, your daughter is watching this game right now, Charles, and she's saying, I didn't know Daddy knew about the House of Pain.
Got her head in her hands, embarrassed that her dad would know that.
Grant, and he'll bring it out. Jakeem Grant. And he is roughed up at the 17. Orion Stewart again. We've seen some plays, folks, in this one. Goodley, the Bears coming back. And just think, we're getting ready to start the second quarter, 21-20. Welcome back, and here's a look at the Ford stat comparison.
Well, if you're looking at these stats, Gus, if you just joined us, who do you think's winning this game? I mean, look at that. Texas Tech, big numbers on their side. But Baylor's up 21-20. Punt return and big strikes.
And they'll hand it off. DeAndre Washington will be tackled for a loss. Andrew Billings, the freshman from Waco, with the tackle.
Gus, he broke the state powerlifting record in high school last year, 2,010 pounds combined, including an 805-pound squat. He's going to be hard to move inside.
Second down and 12. Mayfield. And another terrific catch by Eric Ward. Falling down. He's got a big smile, as he should. That's a gain of 21.
He's having some night, isn't he? And he's really helping the quarterbacks. And again, got away with a hold was Dimitri Goodson. Ward came back inside, located the football. What's happening to the Baylor defensive backs is they're not locating the football in their coverage. And Baker Mayfield is whistling it past their ears.
Second one-handed catch. The first is for a touchdown. And they'll find Foster. And Foster lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Eddie Lackey brings him to the turf. But these Baylor Bears are very violent tacklers.
And they have no problem at all putting a lick on you, do they?
Second and 10 at the 37. Washington, the pistol back. They give it to him. Tries to break it outside. And and he'll gain maybe a yard on the play. Dixon and Lackey combining on the tackle. Look how they close, Charles.
Watch Eddie Lackey, number 5. Can you believe this is a guy that began his career in Division II at Northwoods? Got there the first day. You know what the coach told him? Son, you're too good for this level. Ended up transferring out after a season, junior college, ends up at Baylor, and boy, is he playing well.
And 3 different times in his career, he's been named the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. 3rd and 8. Mayfield steps up. He's got a lane. Looking for the first down, and will go down short. And Texas Tech will punt it away. And Ice Hager there to stop it.
And Gus, on this play, self-preservation won out over trying to get the first down. Because he sees Lackey 5 and Hager closing. So he's not going to drop a shoulder on Bryce Hager, the linebacker, goes down, and that's short of the first down.
So Levi Norwood, who just returned a punt, 58 yards for a touchdown, stands at the 15. And this one goes over his head and gets into the end zone for a touchback. So after trailing big early, Baylor with the 1-point lead, and here come the Bears on offense once again. This season, the Baylor offense leads the nation in combined yards per game, combined points per game, and are on pace to set single-season records in both categories. And when you look at Coach Riles, 21 years as a high school coach, he paid his dues all throughout Texas. And there's always a man when we see these high-powered offenses. That man currently resides in Pullman, Washington, that is a mini architect of what we're seeing in college football.
Yeah, and Art Briles, you talk about Mike Leach up at Washington State. Art Briles on his staff at Texas Tech for a while.
Here's a handoff, Linwood with space. Finally knocked out of bounds now by Trey Porter and Bruce Jones.
Now the first 2 backs are not playing tonight for Baylor. Lake C. Strunk, their All-American running back, and Glasgow Martin. Shock Linwood playing. Christina Pink told us he's got a little bit of a dinged-up knee right now, too.
Linwood running. C. Strunk has a groin injury, and Glasgow Martin with a knee injury. And this is what the Bears are missing.
Yeah, Tevin Reese. Look at that, 25 yards per catch. He had wrist surgery this week. They hope he'll get him back for a bowl game. Lake C. Strunk with a groin injury, and Glasgow Martin a knee injury.
3rd down and 3. Petty got it away. This will be a first down for the Bears. Linwood. Great call by the Bears offensive staff.
That's the first completion, correct, this season to a running back. No running back had caught a pass until that play with Shock Linwood.
Underneath, incomplete, play full of the intended receiver. And that was interesting, Charles, when we were looking at the notes before the game.
Yeah, it's not written in the notes. You had to kind of ferret it out when you start going through your research. You're saying, I don't see any catches by running backs. And then you start looking and looking and looking. And normally with these types of offenses, running backs catch a lot of footballs.
Petty to throw it up the sideline. Incomplete. That one intended for Goodley. Keenan Ward, stride for stride.
It's like Bruce Jones, and look at him locked up again. We've seen a lot of contact between defensive backs and wide receivers tonight, and the officials, for the most part, are letting them play. Jones had a hand wrapped around Goodley, but they let him fight it out. Goodley unable to come up with the ball.
3rd down and 10 at the 42.
Look at all the signaling going on to decide what the final play call is.
Empty backfield for Petty. He can run it. Petty underneath, caught. Goodley, first down, still running, and out of bounds at the Texas Tech 43.
Now watch from right to left, Gus. Goodley coming underneath. Petty waited an extra count and gave it to him. Why? Because once he catches the ball, he turns into the running back that his body type shows. Crossing route, got it done. Sorry.
A 15-yard gain. First down. Petty on the draw play now. And Petty gets to the 32. Will Smith takes him down.
You missed that call by one play. You had it. Because you talked about when they get to an empty set, don't be surprised if Bryce Petty uses his legs. One play later, paid it off for you.
Gained 11. Petty now to throw it. Looking. Good low off his fingertips. But a flag on the play at the line of scrimmage. And a holding is getting ready to be called. And it will go against the Bears.
Holding, number 77 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Big tough night for Kelvin Palmer, hasn't it? That's his third penalty of the evening. The first two were false starts. Now he picks up a holding call. The right tackle for Baylor.
So a 1st and 20 at the 43.
Really don't. Does 1st and 20 daunt this offense?
Not at all. Petty hands it straight ahead to Linwood. And Linwood ambushed as soon as he touches the football.
Very nice play. It looked like Demetrius Alston, number 51 for Texas Tech, a backup defensive lineman. I think Baylor tried to outguess Texas Tech. Figured they'd load up for the pass, tried to pop something inside.
2nd and 19. Petty looks up the sideline. He's got a receiver. And knocked down at the last minute. Justice Nelson. Intended for Corey Coleman. Nelson with a great play.
They finally tried to pick on the true freshman getting his first start, Justice Nelson. And when you talk to the Texas Tech people, they'll tell you he's their fastest cornerback and their best cover guy in practice. But now the lights are on, and he showed his potential on that play.
He's 6 feet 2 inches. 3rd down and 19. Tech will rush 4. Petty in the gun. Trips at the top of your screen. Here's Petty. Drops it off. And they won't get it. Clay Fuller rather. We'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, but the Texas Tech defense holding. Michael Alway with the tackle.
Now Aaron Jones' career long is 58 yards, so he's got plenty of leg. You got that with the wind at Oklahoma last season.
Jones last week against Oklahoma, 2 of 4. Good from 29 and 40 yards. He's 8 of 12 on the season. This one from 49 yards away. And he won't get it. He hooked it. Victory for the Red Raiders. 9:28 to go, 2nd quarter. Texas Tech turns the Baylor Bears away. Down by a penny. Fox College Football is sponsored by your next truck, Ford F-150.
And there's Matt Wallerstead, the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech. And my partner reminded me of something that we talked about when we did a Texas Tech game earlier, when they're getting ready for Oklahoma. And he said his defense is designed to take on much more of the Landry Jones style of quarterback than a quarterback like Blake Bell, who runs it more. Well, tonight, Bryce Petty, not using his legs very much, they're having a little more success with a quarterback in the pocket.
Baker Mayfield popped it up. Did Baylor get it? Yes, they did. Ahmad Dixon falls on the ball and a flag on the play.
It'll be unsportsmanlike conduct against Ahmad Dixon. After he picks up the ball, he takes it and rolls it like it's a pair of dice to a teammate. That ball wasn't even pop free. It just came free. Baker Mayfield just lost it. And there's Dixon picking it up. Then after the play, he rolled it to a teammate. That will be the penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 6 of the recovering team.
Right there.
15-yard penalty. First down, Baylor.
Yeah, they considered that like an excessive act of celebration, rolling it to a teammate like he was shooting dice.
Wow, but more importantly, Baker Mayfield shaken up, walking gingerly on the Texas Tech sideline.
Look at how Baylor's taken over on defense now the last 4 possessions. 2 punts, interception, fumble recovery. You remember last time when they had great field, when they had a turnover, what happened? Threw it right away, took the big shot downfield. They've been doing a lot of that tonight. Michael Brewer now warming up on the sidelines. Not Davis Webb.
Penny, the handoff to Linwood. And Linwood gets close to a first down. Will Smith and Terrence Bullock combining on the tackle.
Shock Linwood. If we stay on this series, I've got a quick one for you.
Linwood again, spinning, still on his feet. And Linwood goes down to the 25.
You know what his teammates are calling him right now?
What are they calling him?
Mini LT for LaDainian Tomlinson. So I checked in with LaDainian and said, have you seen this kid play? And he said he certainly has. And he said this is what he likes about it. Makes the first guy miss, breaks tackles.
Linwood. And he'll get to the 10. Remember, Texas Tech, Charles, has had problems stopping the run the last 3 weeks.
And it keeps showing up. Yeah, Tomlinson said he loves the burst that he has through the hole and exceptional balance. And we saw all that on that series from Linwood before he checked out.
First down. Again, they run it this time. Chafin. And he'll get close to the goal line. Devin Chafin, the redshirt freshman.
And they don't give you any time to catch your breath, do they?
Bears pounding it now. And a touchdown. Devin Chafin. Five plays, all runs after the turnover. And Baylor delivering some massive body shots on that drive to take a 27-20 lead.
And they are investing in those body shots to pay dividends later, to soften things up. And they worked in a big way on that drive. Linwood first, Chafin the last 2 carries to finish things off. Offensive line taking charge of the line of scrimmage.
Extra point good for Aaron Jones. 8:18 to play in the second quarter. The number 5 team in the country. They're up now, folks. 28-20. And we have a late flag thrown on the field.
The extra point kick was good after the play was over. Personal foul, number 91 of the defense. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the ensuing kickoff.
It's Kerry Hyder. So 8:18 to go, second quarter, 28-20. The Baylor Bears, second. All right, Rob. So Baylor, after trailing 20-7, they've scored 21 unanswered points to take an 8-point lead. Chafin with the rushing touchdown. And now the Bears send it away as they kick from midfield after the personal foul on the extra point. Now let's go to Los Angeles for a game break. And we will get to Patrick O'Neal momentarily. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield is shaking off whatever injury he was plagued with on the sideline, ran it off, and he's back on the field. And will start from his own 25.
And probably the most critical drive of the first half for Texas Tech. Momentum totally gone at this point. They've got to get something to tamp things down.
Mayfield pump fake over the middle for Amaro, incomplete. Texas Tech has turned it over 2 times and given up 14 points off those 2 turnovers.
Had a nice isolation there with Amaro on Ahmad Dixon. Got to like the size differential. Amaro at 6'6", Dixon is 6 foot, and giving away about 55, 60 pounds on the play, unable to connect.
Empty backfield for Tech. Now the motion, Grant underneath. This ball caught Ward, and he'll juke his way and get close to the first down. Eric Ward has had a wonderful first half. He's made some spectacular catches. One for a touchdown.
Married his 14-year-old sweetheart, Kinsey. And they have a son, J-Rick. Have another one on the way. Just a phenomenal young man, having a great half, as you noted.
Third down and 1 yard to go. Grant the motion man, low snap. Mayfield rolling. Mayfield in trouble. Mayfield delivers. First down, Jakeem Grant.
What a tremendous play by Baker Mayfield to be able to slip the tackle by Bryce Hager. And Hager, I believe, is down on the field hurt after the play. And keep going and find Jakeem Grant for a key first down.
So a player down for the Bears. We'll take a break. Fox College Football is sponsored by ADT. Always there. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Pizza Hut. Prep for game day by ordering online from Pizza Hut. Make it great. 7:33 to play in the first half. Baylor with a 28-20 lead after being down 27, but they've scored 21 unanswered points. Baker Mayfield, the walk-on freshman, in at quarterback. First down and 10. He'll hand it off to Kenny Williams. And Williams with some running room. A flag thrown on the play, though. Late flag. Williams getting up, Gimpy.
Holding, number 56 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Alfredo Morales, the left guard, getting caught on that play. And you notice on the running play, they went kind of into the area where Bryce Hager normally occupies, didn't they? Hager out of the game with injury. Brody Trahan, number 15, has come on the field to replace him, and they went right at his replacement.
First down and 20. Grant with the catch. Trying to make people miss, but he won't fool anybody. I tell you, these Bears can tackle in the open field. Terrell Burt, the sophomore from Wiley, Texas.
How about Terrell Burt dancing in the open field with the receiver and not letting Jakeem Grant, who can shake with the best of them, put a move on him and puts him down. Terrific play in the open field by Terrell Burt.
Only a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 19. Amaro in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Mayfield steps up. He's got a wide open receiver. Davis, and knocked away at the last minute. Joe Williams made up ground with the ball in the air. Mayfield just didn't put enough air on it.
Excellent call, Gus, because if Mayfield had a chance to set himself and throw it and lead the receiver, he's still running. He wasn't able to do that. McAllister put the pressure on him, forced him out of the pocket, and that allowed Williams to come up and knock it away when the ball was thrown short.
3rd down and 19. Baker Mayfield winds up. Amaro's complete. Terrell Burt breaks it up. He's hurt.
If Burt doesn't make this play, it's a huge gainer for Texas Tech because Mayfield put it on Amaro very well. Look at Amaro beating the coverage, beating Sam Hall first, but Burt with a big hit knocks it away at the end because before Amaro was able to tuck it away. That was a well-run route, well-thrown pass. Look at Phil Bennett. He doesn't like the fact that Amaro's open, but he likes the end result when Burt knocks it away, except for the fact that his young man is down on the field hurt.
And Burt may have hurt the shoulder as he landed. 28-20. So a good sign for the Bears as Terrell Burt walks off on his own after landing on that right shoulder.
Well, he saved his defense on that play because they had the matchup they wanted, did Texas Tech. Jason Morrow running over the top of Sam Hall.
Levi Norwood backpedaling. He'll start from the 21. Wall set up on the near side, but this time great coverage on special teams by Texas Tech. But a flag on the play. It's Dale Foster with the tackle.
That was tremendous coverage, wasn't it?
Yes.
Just a sea of white shirts. Nowhere to go for Levi Norwood before they put him down.
During the kick, holding, number 18, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
So let's take a look at our Facebook poll where we asked our Facebook fans who deserves to be number 3 in the BCS. And here's how they responded.
Well, Baylor 45%, Ohio State 34%, Stanford 21%. Lots of support for all three. Coming into the game tonight, I thought Baylor. I voted them number 3 in my poll going into this week because of their total body of work. Stanford getting a lot of love in the poll. They're ahead of them in the BCS at number 4, Baylor at number 5, Ohio State at 3. All three of them deserving to be mentioned.
First down from the 11 for Bryce Petty and the Bears. And they'll run it off first down. Linwood. And Linwood dropped by Will Smith.
Texas Tech's defense is trying to hang in there, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They'd like to get that ball back one more time for Baker Mayfield.
Baylor doesn't make it easy on you at all.
2nd and 8. Petty on. He tucks it, lost it. And the Red Raiders have it. Bryce Petty stripped. And Texas Tech has it. Inside the 10-yard line. Terrence Bullock with the recovery and a flag on the play.
And they just hurt themselves. Tremendous field position. And they're going to get a penalty for spiking the football after the recovery and hurt their offensive field position. Not a smart play for Texas Tech.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 1 of the recovering team, spiking the football. 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10, Texas Tech.
We've had both teams with excessive celebration. Sam McGuavin, number 13, strips the football. Terrence Bullock, who's playing with a broken right hand, a bruised up left shoulder, falls on the football and makes the big play. They are in business inside the 10-yard line if they don't get the penalty. But then after the play, Bullock, excited, happy, makes a mistake. Spikes the football, similar to Ahmad Dixon rolling the ball like it's dice. Both mistakes that hurt your offense.
So instead of having it inside the 10, they start from the 23. First down, Mayfield delivers to Davis. And oh my gosh! Woo-hoo. Wow! Orion Stewart, violent.
He is the replacement for Terrell Burt, Orion Stewart. Watch him come inside out and greet Jordan Davis.
Somewhere Dick Nitrate Lane says, hey, that's how I used to tackle him when I played for the Detroit Lions.
Oh, the Night Train, boy, was he something else, an NFL Hall of Famer.
2nd down and 9 at the 22. Mayfield looking. Amaro! And he holds on inside the 5. And the All-American is down. He got walloped. Ahmad Dixon. And Amaro may be out.
And in case you haven't gotten the memo, if you're going to complete something across the middle against Baylor, be prepared to get greeted with authority. And how about the tremendous catch and hold by Jace Amaro? Fantastic.
Real time.
You know what coaches always say, Gus? You know you're going across the middle, and you know you're going to get hit, so you might as well catch the football. Well, we all know that's way easier said than done, right? Way easier said than done. Jace Amaro just pulled off a huge, huge play for Texas Tech, able to hold on to the football after that hit. And Ahmad Dixon may be a little bit fortunate because of his head and where it was on the tackle. With the sensitivity towards targeting.
Number 77 for Texas Tech is now wearing number 93.
And that will be Trey Keenan, who's coming into the game. Let's take a look now. The sensitivity towards targeting. Take a look. See the helmet? Into the shoulder pad area. They want to keep you out of the neck, shoulder area with your helmet. No call made for Ahmad Dixon. I think he's fortunate there, just by the way the rule is written nowadays.
Amaro getting up. He's woozy. He's a tough one, though. Expect to see him back. Tell you what, though, Charles, I've seen Baylor on tape, especially last week against Oklahoma. But these kids on defense, they're playing like Alabama.
Listen,
like Alabama played last week against LSU.
I saw them in practice the other day, and I said, if you strip away the colors and the school logos, Baylor could be in Tuscaloosa, Columbus, Ann Arbor. Pick your spot. They look the part now, but right now Tech in Wildcat.
Here's Foster. And he'll lean forward. Under 5 to go. Clock running. Tech in no rush. Stewart with the tackle again. What a great name. Orion.
Yes, the hunter. How about how Tech is bearing up in this game, though? The pressure is coming at them from Baylor from all sides, yet Tech has shown no signs of going away.
Mayfield back in, second and goal at the 3. Wants a throw in, wide open, touchdown! Jakeem Grant. And I don't know, looked like they ran a pick and roll over there, partner.
They certainly did, and it's one of those beautiful ones that you get away with. Watch coming inside, that's the screen, and then outside is Grant. See that? Now you've got 3 guys right here, and that puts Grant open towards the corner. And how well thrown is that football by Baker Mayfield? Well-designed route by Cliff Kingsbury on his offense, with his offense. An excellent execution by Mayfield and Jakeem Grant.
Buston, who missed his last one, knuckleballs this one through. So one thing you know is Buston will be on the field early at the start of the second half to work on his form. He's missed an extra point already. But let's recap this game.
How about Jace Amaro, quick out of the gates after the halfback pass from Kenny Williams and a second touchdown catch from Baker Mayfield. Levi Norwood, 58 yards on the punt return for a touchdown. KJ Morton, one of the better interceptions that you will see. But Tech hangs in there after the onslaught. Aguavin pops the ball free from Bryce Petty. They're in business, and they end up paying it off with a touchdown pass. Baker Mayfield, Jakeem Grant with an excellent route run by Eric Ward. That was the screen. What'd you call it, the pick and roll? Outstanding, because let me tell you something. If that was a basketball play, that finished with a dunk. All right, that was he rolled, he goes to the basket, he throws it down any way he wants to.
Cliff Kingsbury, he is letting it fly tonight. Mayfield has thrown it 37 times in the first half. Clay Fuller, the deep man for Baylor. A lot of time left for the Bears. And Fuller will get a chance to return this one from the 7. Fuller straight ahead and across the 30. Now Fox tomorrow, the next evolution of cop drama is here. Don't miss the groundbreaking show that has critics raving, Almost Human. The 2-night premiere starts tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Isn't that your man?
That's my man.
That's your man, Michael Ealy.
Michael Ealy, who plays the android that has feelings. How about that?
Yeah, when did we start giving them feelings? I mean, when did that start happening?
I don't know.
When Michael Ealy said, guess what? When I do this role, I'm going to have feelings.
That's right.
And it's working quite well.
First down and 10 to the 32. Here's Petty over the middle. Knocked away. Nicely done by Keenan Ward, the freshman. And he's been balling out in this first half.
He's made some nice plays. When we last saw him against Oklahoma State, remember he got nailed on the flea flicker and came in on the run, and they threw it over his head for a touchdown. He's learned his lessons well. His coverage has been terrific tonight.
Second and 10 at the 32. And the handoff to Linwood. And Shock gets up to the 35. Aguavin brings him down.
Look at the play on the ball by Ward, because if he doesn't make that play, Fuller catches it, and he's running upfield.
Third down, 8 yards to go for Baylor at their own 34. Play fake, Petty to the sideline, caught but not enough for first down.
Depends on the spot, because I thought he caught it beyond the marker and was driven back on the hit.
Goodly, and they do give him a good spot. He does pick up the first down.
Watch where he catches the football in the initial contact. See? He's beyond the first down marker. So right there, the hit takes him back. They gave him the full gain.
Baylor keeps the chains moving. Petty, again a play fake, delivers up top. Goodley, the second ball off his fingertips in this game. He's been open, but he's disappointed his quarterback because that would have been 6.
Yeah, this is another one where he's got a chance, and Petty, look how strong he is as he takes the big hit inside and still delivers the pass. Dartwan Bush, and that one is right there, and that's the second one, as you noted, Gus, that Goodley had a chance to catch for a touchdown and did not.
Second down and 10. This time near side, Norwood. Up the sideline, watch out! Norwood again! Touchdown Baylor! That's his third of the game! "58 yards for Levi."
Give him credit for the touchdown, but here's where the credit has to go. It has to go to number 1, Corey Coleman. Look at that block on Justice Nelson. Now he's allowed Levi Norwood a chance to be an athlete. This is what a lot of coaches say. Once they give you an opening, show why you're on scholarship. He made 2 miss and took it all the way to the house.
Extra point up and good. 3:12 to go. First half, folks. 35-27.
Is there any chance that we can get an oxygen tent up here?
We need it.
How about it? Make it a miss, and then taking it all the way. Levi Norwood. Okay, coming into tonight, 19 catches on the season, 2 touchdowns. How about the night he's putting together? Has the Texas Tech defenders who have played hard all evening got their head in their hands wondering how do we continue to stop the onslaught that is the Baylor offense. Remember, Tevin Reese, their big-time receiver, not playing, gone for the rest of the season, wrist surgery. Dislocated against Oklahoma, had surgery this week. I got a chance to talk to him in pregame. He actually led the team out tonight. So how are you going to replace him? Well, there's a committee of terrific receivers at Baylor, and Levi Norwood has really stepped into the breach tonight. There's Tevin Reese enjoying his team and enjoying the atmosphere tonight.
One thing about this Baylor team, they know how to get their own energy up.
Yes, they do, and that, you know where that serves you well? On the road. Because that energy is negative energy that you're playing against. They take care of themselves over on the sideline. Those are the guys who aren't dressed to play tonight, led by their strength coach, Kaz Kazadi.
And the Red Raiders will take a knee. Reginald Davis back to return it. And Charles, how about this? We've had 600 combined yards and 9 touchdowns in the first half.
It's one of those things that you think can happen.
And we thought about it in the beginning.
We discussed it, but until it actually occurs, wow. And here comes another opportunity for Texas Tech. Look how Baylor keeps the pressure on you. You always have to answer after Baylor, it seems like, after Baylor has the ball.
Texas Tech with 1 timeout remaining. 3:12 on the game clock. Mayfield. And that one broken off, intended for Ward. Almost intercepted by Dimitri Goodson.
And what has happened all night with the Baylor corners? They've been able to throw the ball past them because they don't get their head around, right? Watch this play by Goodson. He gets his head around and sees it the whole way. And Ward turned into the defender and broke up the pass.
2nd and 10. Mayfield. Quick release. Nice throw. And Reginald Davis with the catch. And he gets out of bounds at the 36. That's a first down for the Red Raiders.
Tell you what, Mayfield has a lot of poise back there, doesn't he? One negative play doesn't slow him down.
A gain of 11. First down at the 36. Mayfield steps up. And he fakes it, runs it, and gets down as he crosses the 40-yard line. A 7-yard pickup.
And if he could have seen it just a half count earlier, Dylan Cantrell, number 14, broke free. Looked deep in the secondary. As he's running, look up. Boom. down there, wide open.
2nd and 3. Foster in motion out of the backfield. 4 receivers up top. Mayfield tripped up and sacked. K.J. Morton blitz from the corner. And this time he catches Baker Mayfield. With 2:08 and counting to go.
There's Morton. He's having some half, isn't he? Mayfield sees him immediately and takes all of his focus away from downfield and into self-preservation because of Morton making it like a heat-seeking missile towards him.
3rd down and 7 at the 39. They're 6 of 11 on 3rd down conversion. Play clock at 9. Mayfield. And incomplete. Intended for Davis. But he may have been blinded by Jamal Palmer, who got a big hand in the air.
How about the zone blitz that they just ran from Phil Bennett? Because Jamal Palmer drops out and comes underneath and makes a play on the football. Normally a defensive end that rushes the passer. He dropped into coverage and was right there to make a play on the ball.
So Erxleben will punt it from the 26. Norwood, he's been dangerous. 3 touchdowns. Picks it up on the box and goes down at the 15.
Sean Corker with the big tackle.
Now coming up on the Pizza Hut halftime, Rob Stone, Eddie George, Joel Klatt will cover an amazing finish in the SEC. And Jameis Winston speaking after some off-field controversy this week. And we'll have some other Big 12 showdowns. Oklahoma State finally finding their rhythm. Coach Gundy may be cracking a smile as of late.
Hey, they're playing awfully well, and that big screen dominates, doesn't it? Even the Texas Tech Red Raider mascot is checking out the big screen. And oh yeah, a minute 27 to go? To minute 21. Is there any doubt that Baylor's going to try and put the pressure on him?
Bears with 2 timeouts. Petty to Norwood, and he goes down to 22. Second and 7. Make it a 3-yard gain. And Petty decides to run it. And he's stood up and driven backwards by Will Smith. Makes it 3rd down and 4. Let's see if the Bears take a shot at it. Petty underneath, 1st down. As Clay Fuller makes the catch.
For a big guy, Bryce Petty has a terrific, compact, quick release, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Play fake balls out of his hands and on his target.
He's 6'3", 230. Petty again. With time. No, he ran out of time as he's gobbled up. Dartwan Bush, the senior from Clute, makes the tackle.
And they needed him back. He sprained a knee against Iowa State and missed the next 4 games. This is his first game back. And boy, it's a big one for Texas Tech to have him in the lineup.
So a timeout called by Baylor. They have 1 remaining.
Left side of the screen, Bush gets in and puts Petty down. You know what we really haven't seen that much of tonight?
Kerry Hyder.
Well, Hyder, the first 7, 8 games, he had 10 tackles for loss. Been pretty quiet lately. The only thing we've seen really from him tonight overall was the personal foul after a touchdown that he got on an extra point. They need him to jump up and be the Kerry Hyder he was earlier. But what I'm thinking is with Baylor, we haven't seen that much of the screen game. We know they don't throw to the running backs, but they're not screening that much to the wide receivers either, although the Levi Norwood touchdown was that type of a play with Corey Coleman.
Levi Norwood is the receiver in the slot at the bottom of your screen. He's been incredible in this first half. 2 receiving touchdowns, and he ran back a punt 58 yards for a score. Petty looking Norwood's way, but he'll drop it off on the near side. It's Rhodes, Robbie Rhodes, the freshman from Fort Worth.
And he came in the game with a sore ankle, and one of the things I've written down my chart, a few drops so far this season. There's another bobble on a key play there.
Third down and 15. Petty delivers. Has his receiver Norwood, but he can't get to the first down marker as he goes out of bounds at the 40. A 12-yard gain on 3rd and 15 with 14 seconds left. Baylor looks like they're thinking about it. And the Bears going for it on 4th and 3.
This tells you about the thinking of where our Bryles is. They want to score all the time, keep the pressure on you.
At their own 40-yard line.
Confidence in his defense late in the half.
And some movement on the Baylor offensive line.
Let's see which way this call goes. This may change Art Bryles' thinking if it's a penalty against Baylor. He may have to punt it away if it's on them.
Ball start, number 77, offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Yeah.
There is no 10-second runoff. The game clock was not running.
So now you go ahead and you got to punt it away at this point. It's too far. Let's take a look and see what we get. Wow, we had 3 guys, really. Kelvin Palmer, 77, right tackle. Looked like Cyril Richardson, 68, left guard, and Spencer Drango, 58. Almost like they thought the snap count was different than what was actually executed.
So with 14 seconds left, Texas Tech with a timeout remaining. Tanner Jacobson will return it. Spencer Roth punting from his own 20. Roth gets off a beauty. And it's downed at the, you're going to call it the 13-yard line. A 52-yard punt for Roth.
Now, normally you would think, well, Texas Tech, they don't back off. They press it. I think at this stage, field position, 6 seconds to go. They've turned it over a couple times in the first half. How about a little discretion? You know, you've had a really good half, and there goes Ahmad Dixon, their all-star safety, going in a little bit early. Looks a little gimpy right now. That would be a big loss if he's not able to play. They've had a few guys hurt on defense in the first half, has Baylor. But if I'm Texas Tech, I take the knee, I get out of here, start over again. Yeah, you know, Bryce Hager's been hurt already for Baylor. Their linebacker, Terrell Burt, the safety.
And that's the end of the first half. 634 yards of total offense for these two sides. 9 touchdowns, tucked up at one time, 20-7. Baylor, though, with the furious rally. And we head into the halftime session. Baylor with an 8-point lead, 35-27. Now we send you to the Pizza Hut halftime. Here's Rob Stone.
You thought you'd set the bar. I never tried to work it out. We just lit the fire, and now you wanna put it out. You gave it all you got, and what you got is not a lot. Why don't you hand it over? Time is up. You've had your shot. Get it once again. Disasters in the end. It's like a default.
AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Welcome back to Fox College Football, presented by Kay Jewelers. And what a first half it was, folks. An offensive explosion, 35-27, as we prepare to start the second half. Gus Johnson, along with Charles Davis. And at the beginning of our broadcast, we talked about this potentially being a game like this, and that's how it's turned out to be.
It's actually exceeded our expectations. I mean, we thought it could be an offensive explosion, but I'm not sure we thought it would go to this level. Give credit to Texas Tech for a fast start and then staying with it. But for Baylor, the story has been Tevin Reese, their all-star wide receiver, not there. Who would step up? How about Levi Norwood? In the first half, 2 touchdown catches and a touchdown off of a punt return. A phenomenal first half for Levi Norwood, 141 yards in receptions and a 58-yard punt return for a touchdown. Baylor has the advantage.
And moments ago, our Christina Pink had a chance to catch up with Baylor head coach Art Bryles.
Coach, you're missing several of your playmakers. Got off to a slow start, but managed to pull ahead. What's the key to maintaining this lead?
You know, we just got to keep playing with a lot of intensity. And, you know, we did a pretty good job protecting the ball, had that one turnover. And then when we get the ball on offense, you got to score points. You know, it's a high-scoring game. we get the ball, we got to score touchdowns.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, so Baylor will have the football, 8-point lead, down 20-7 at one point in this game, but they scored 21 unanswered points to take the lead. And now 35-27 our score as we start the third quarter. And this will be Corey Coleman. And Coleman will go down as he crosses the 25, close to the 29-yard line.
And here are the first half stats brought to you by K Jewelers. Look at the number of plays run. Texas Tech, 61 plays in the first half. Time of possession, usually they don't worry about it. They dominated it, yet they're behind. 2 turnovers to 1 help contribute to that deficit for Texas Tech. But I love the spirit they're playing with tonight. They are playing loose and fast, as Cliff Kingsbury wanted from his team this week.
First down and 10 at the 29 for Bryce Petty. And he'll hand it off on first down. Shock Linwood.
In the first half, Linwood dinged up a little bit with a knee injury. I wonder if that's contributed to them calling a few less running plays. They might start to want to run the football a little more in this half.
Linwood again gets close to the first down, still on his feet, and finally out of bounds. He picks up that first down. Some hard running for Shock Linwood.
See, this run showed what LaDainian Tomlinson said about him when he scouted him and watched him. His ability to keep his feet, break tackles, make people miss. Balance, he said, was exceptional. We saw it on that play.
As you take a look, 84 yards rushing. He was named the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week after rushing for a career high 182 yards on 23 carries against Oklahoma. He amassed all his carries and yards in the final 3 quarters after he came in for banged up Lake Seastrunk and Glasgow Martin.
And we just saw Trey Porter, their senior leader in the secondary, go off the field. If you're Baylor's coaches, you take note of that. And football's Darwinian. That means you attack where people are weakest. They're going to have, I believe, Tanner Jacobson, number 20 in the secondary now. Don't be surprised if Art Briles and his offensive staff dial up something trying to find Tanner Jacobson.
And it's Linwood. Only my partner, folks, in America would use Darwinian. What does that mean, Darwinian?
Survival of the fittest.
Oh, okay.
You know, at this stage, everybody wants to have sportsmanship, but if you're out there, you will be tested.
2nd and 4 at the 47. Petty. And this time he finds Norwood. Norwood juking, lowering his shoulder, finally drilled out of bounds. No flag on the play for a late hit.
I think it was a good no call. Everyone was competing. He was trying to get extra yardage on the sideline. The tackle started before he went out of bounds and was just finished there by Will Smith.
First down after the 10-yard gain. Opening drive of the second half for Baylor. Petty lets it go. Caught. Coleman. And Coleman down to the 15. Will Smith stops him. Baylor with great rhythm to start the second half.
And watch who has deep coverage on this play. They're going to make him make a play. Down the sideline, Coleman right in front of Jacobson.
26-yard gain. Bears on the ground now. Look at that smash him out. Devin Chafin this time.
These young backs are doing so well filling in for Lake Seastrunk, who's an All-American. Glasgow Martin, who ran for 15 touchdowns in 2012 and is their power back. And these youngsters are running well.
And a first down as Chafin picks it up again. And they are delivering blows after contact.
Yeah, they're finishing runs, aren't they? I mean, when they go in and you have to tackle them, they feed you their football pads now. They make you eat those.
Linwood back in, 1st and goal at the 6. Petty keeps it, touchdown. And you have often said that this Baylor team, although You would think that they're a passing team, but they're a run-first football team.
When you talk to Art Briles, the first thing he's going to tell you is, we want to run the football. Being physical is a mentality. When you go to their practice facility, do you know what's posted on the signs in their indoor facility? Choose to be physical. All over this facility. So people get the flash and dash of passing it, but they are a run-first, physical, pound-you-oriented football team.
So Baylor marches it all the way down the field. 8-play drive, covering 71 yards, ground and pound. Fox College Football is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Moto X, designed by you, assembled in the USA. And Bryce Petty putting up some pretty big numbers.
Look at him. Consecutive games with a pass and rush touchdown in the same game since 1998. Look at the big guy they're chasing. The great Tim Tebow. Marcus Mariota's streak came to an end against Stanford. And now Petty at 8, tied with Colin Kaepernick.
So after trailing 20-7, Baylor has outscored Texas Tech 35-7. Davis will return it. Davis with the blocker in front of him. Davis following that blocker. Flag on the play as Davis gets out of bounds close to midfield. A 45-yard return, but we'll see if this one comes back.
During the return, holding, number 40, receiving team. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Rodney Hall. Call for the hold. Now let's go to Christina Pink for some injury updates.
Yes, an update on the Baylor defense. Bryce Hager, their middle linebacker, is out. He suffered a groin strain, will not return to the game. But Ahmad Dixon is fine. They did not give me specifics on what his injury was, but he is okay.
Okay, Dixon on the field right now, Christina.
And you know who else is back, too, is Terrell Burt. Remember, he went out after that big hit on Jason Morrow in the first half. He's also back in the secondary with Dixon.
Morrow in the game as well. And this will be Kenny Williams, who makes the first man miss and gets up to the 30. That's a 17-yard gain. Avion Edwards with the tackle. There's Morrow. Line up at the slot at the bottom. Got his bell rang at the end of the first half. Mayfield. Incomplete. Marquez, the intended receiver, but K.J. Morton. Once again, we call his name. He had the spectacular interception in the first half.
They make it tough on the corner, don't they? Every play, you've got to battle as a wide receiver and be physical against them. And I think they get their hands on receivers so much that after a while, the officials get tired of throwing the flag and they just let them play.
Second down. Mayfield. Beautiful ball. Grant with the catch. As he gets out of bounds, he picks up 20. Jakeem Grant.
That was a well-designed play. They took the attention to the wide receiver. He stayed short, let Grant go a little bit deeper, working against the safety Burt.
Mayfield rolls out of the pocket. Thinks about running it. Oh, he got it stripped from behind. And the Bears have it. Mayfield loose with the football.
Did they find a way to get it back?
K.J. Morton dislodged it.
And there's no signal that it goes to Baylor. Look at the back. Morton, another tremendous play. Look at him chop it free from Baker Mayfield. And Baylor was on the football first. See it bounce off of Reginald Davis there. But Baylor was on it first. No signal. It appears Texas Tech came up with the ball.
Mayfield has fumbled twice in this game. He lost one of them.
Look at that. They just missed it. It looked like Reginald Davis came over the top and got it back for Texas Tech. Looked like Byron Bonds, number 96, had a shot for Baylor and missed.
2nd and 8 at the Baylor 49 for the Red Raiders. First drive of the second half. Mayfield looking for Marquez. Marquez and a flag on the play. That's a great call. Ahmad Dixon nudged him off his route with the ball in the air.
They went with a cat blitz, corner blitz from the short side, K.J. Morton, which put Ahmad Dixon.
Number 6, defense. 15-yard penalty. First out.
So that put Dixon into man-for-man coverage. Watch here, blitz here, and then look at 6, Dixon. Now he's in man coverage against Marquez. And as you noted, an excellent call. See how he puts his body in front of Marquez and impedes him? Ball's in the air, can't do that.
So a 15-yard penalty, first down and 10. And they'll run it with Sadale Foster, who slides down inside the 30. And you're absolutely right, Charles. This Baylor secondary, they hold you or grab you almost every play.
It's almost to the point, I think, that the officials, after a while, almost get numb to it. And it works in their favor as the game goes along. A few flags early, but as you know, have you noticed, Gus, as the game has gone along, when's the last time you saw a flag for holding really on the corner against them? It's rare.
Texas Tech calls timeout, their first of the second half. Back right after this. 6 at the 30-yard line for Texas Tech. Mayfield drops it off and incomplete, intended for DeAndre Washington out of the backfield.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, he had blockers in front of it.
Yeah, that was like a wasted at-bat right there. Like you went to the plate and didn't focus. That's an easy throw. Make that throw. Give your guy a chance. You threw away a down where you probably could have picked up the first down on second down.
Third down and 6 at the 30. Maybe 4-down territory for Texas Tech if they don't pick up this first down. And here's the handoff. Washington dives forward, and it looks like he has it. No, he'll be short based on the spot.
And I think you're right about 4 down. That wouldn't be a surprise at all. Field goals aren't going to get it done against Baylor. You've got to get 6s.
So 4th down and a yard for the Red Raiders.
And again, I would not run the football here if I'm Texas Tech. Know your personality. And your personality is not a wedge-it-out team in short yardage.
Not even for a yard, Charles.
Listen, we've seen it over the years, even with Mike Leach's teams. 4th and short was not their bread and butter, running the ball.
And Texas Tech calls another timeout. That's their second of the second half. 9:57 to play in the third.
Find a way to make a play. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
Simple instructions coming from Cliff Kingsbury. 4th down and about a yard and a half. Here's a bootleg. Mayfield leads forward. I don't know.
If he got it, it's very close. But Baylor did not put a heavy lineup in. They went with their traditional standard defense. They didn't go goal line or short yardage. And Mayfield bootlegs it out and tries to get to the corner. And look at the play there. Looked like Sam Hall, 25. I see 31 McAllister. I see 13 Terrell Burt. Look at them converge on him. Did they give him the lean there? Because that's close. If he got it, it was the second effort falling forward.
Talk about the nose of a football. He did not get it. You told me that they shouldn't run the ball. It's not who they were. They elected to keep it on the ground, Charles, and come up an inch short on the first down on 4th down.
I've watched Texas Tech football since the early 2000s. And short yardage in critical situations has never been a huge part of their makeup. They're not built that way, to wedge it out and smash you in very many situations. They tried to fool him, a little trickery there. Bootlegged it out. I like the call overall, but he converged so well and made it very difficult on the spot. If he had reached out, he might have had a chance. But he's trying to correct it. He's trying to, take care of the football, and that may have left him a little bit short.
I mean, if you look at where the ball was spotted, he's down right there. He's across our unofficial line.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
But he didn't get that spot.
And he got the spot before he fell. You know, he got the spot. It seemed like they piled him up, and that's what they called the spot, not where he landed on the ground.
Mike Pereira joins us from our studio in Los Angeles. Mike, your thoughts?
Well, they're obviously looking at this, and the one thing you've got to do here is you've got to see the ball. When you look at the original live shot, might be your best. The ball's got to reach.
Stands. First down, Baylor.
And that's the issue here. I might assume that he makes the first down, but in the shot you just don't see the ball. So I don't think you can do anything but let the original ruling stand.
Thanks, Mike. And Gus, you notice he had to cover himself trying to get a little force. You see that? He's trying to drop his shoulder and get the first down. If he had been able to stretch the ball out just a little bit, he would have gotten the first down for sure, but I think he was worried about it popping free in that situation.
So Petty and the Bears start at their own 25. And they'll hand it off to Shot Linwood. And Linwood crosses the 30 up to the 32. A 7-yard gain.
And a good block by Antoine Goodley out on the corner, out on the perimeter. The wide receiver had a tough time catching it tonight, but he's still staying with blocking on the perimeter for his teammate.
Second down and 3. Flag on the play. Linwood again. First down if it stands.
Offside. Number 9, defense. The penalty is declined. Result of play is a first down.
Yes, Brandon Jackson.
Let's go down to Christina Pink for an injury update.
Gus, a couple of injuries to the Tech defense. Terrence Bullitt, who was already nursing a shoulder injury as well as a broken bone in his right hand, might have re-aggravated the left shoulder. They were working on it also.
Goodley.
Also, free safety Trey Porter had his right thumb worked on the sideline during that last series. He's heavily taped now. You can see it, but they're both back on the field. But nursing injuries, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Christina. Second and 10 at the 40 for Baylor. Linwood. First down and more. Linwood, burst of speed, and is finally taken down at the 35 of Texas Tech. Keenan Ward with the tackle. And the Tech defense unraveling now. They cannot stop the run. 128 yards rushing for Shot Linwood. They give it to him running right this time. And a flag.
You know, people talk all the time about halftime adjustments like there's some mystical thing. You know what Baylor's halftime adjustment was? We're not running it enough. Let's run it some more. And that is working well in the second half.
Number 18, offense. 10-yard penalty from spot of foul. Replay, first down.
Jordan Iver, the tight end, who's a transfer from Stanford, caught on that one. But this is the run before the penalty. Now watch Shaq Linwood, a young runner, but look at him understanding how to switch arms to keep the ball away from the defenders. So he was running into traffic, switched it to his other arm to put it in the farthest arm away from a tackler.
So that makes it first down and 20. Linwood again. No, make that Chafin. Chafin splitting toward the end zone. Touchdown, Baylor. Wow, 47 yards. Extra point up and good for Aaron Jones. And the Baylor Bears. They said they're a physical team, and they're showing it here in the second half against Texas Tech. game at halftime, folks, but Baylor has come out, and they are showing us why they're the 5th-ranked team in the nation. Doing it on the ground. Their 39th rushing touchdown this season. And this is the 36th straight game Baylor has gone over 400 yards. As the Bears send it away. Reginald Davis inside his own 5. And he won't get to the 10-yard line. Terrence Singleton with the tackle on special teams. Now for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break. Here's Patrick O'Neill in Los Angeles.
Hey, Gus, I'm sure in the 3rd quarter. Gus and Charles, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Will Alabama ever be beaten this season? That's the question.
They can be. They can be. I think that any of the teams at the top can challenge them, but the key is you got to go get them.
Washington. And DeAndre Washington with a 5-yard gain. So what do you do now if you're Texas Tech?
I think you have to keep cranking your offense the way that you came in with the idea of we're going to take our shots. But I think they've got to run it a little bit. Try and tamp down the pressure that's coming at their quarterback, Mayfield.
Mayfield won for his last 6. Under pressure. Flag on the play. Looks like a face mask coming up against Baylor.
I think you got to run it a little bit to try and discourage just an all-out pass rush at him. Look at how quickly they get to Baker Mayfield.
Face mask, number 93 defense. 15-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Yeah, that was Suleiman Masambuko. Refugee from Nigeria, came over as a youngster, taken in by a family here in the United States. Saw his parents again 2 years ago on a trip back. Mom and Dad stayed.
First down. Mayfield scrambling, and he's swallowed up by that Baylor defense. Sam Hall, the outside linebacker, with the sack. Bears bringing a lot of pressure now, Charles.
Yeah, Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator, has just said sick 'em. Did the Bears' expression anyway. Baylor's motto, go get him.
Mayfield over the middle, ball in the air, incomplete. That one deflected.
See, what allows him to go get him is a couple of things. Number one, the score. I mean, they're up 49-27. Number two, the secondary, how tightly they can clamp on receivers and make plays on the football. So there's Phil, who's a terrific defense coordinator. Remember Kansas State with Bill Snyder? He was the defense coordinator on those great teams. He's got a team worthy of it again.
3rd down and 14 at the 30. Mayfield unloads and broken up. Bradley Marquez, the intended receiver, and Stewart comes up and breaks that pass up.
Look at that. Orion Stewart gets into the ball game. A redshirt freshman knocks it away. That whole sequence, Gus, the secondary made a play on every pass, didn't they? They were on the football on every throw downfield with the pressure in Baker Mayfield's face.
Ryan Erxleben will punt it away from his own 16-yard line. Levi Norwood, who's run one back. 58 yards tonight on a punt return, is the deep man. He'll backpedal. Norwood will start from his own 20. And Norwood gets to the 25 and is wrapped up at the 26. Now tomorrow, it's Big East basketball on Fox Sports 1 as Towson takes on Villanova. And then Monday, Vermont battles Providence. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern and Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com now.
It's my man there at Villanova. Head coach there, what's his name again? Wright.
That's right, Jay Wright.
Jay Wright. Is there anyone cleaner in the business in terms of dressing?
Maybe not. Maybe Rick Pitino.
Maybe Pitino, right? But Jay's smooth now. And he always has a good basketball team.
Always.
Do you know where he got his start in sports? Football. You believe that? He had a job with the Philadelphia Stars of USFL before he got back into hoops.
What don't you know, Charles?
Anything important.
Linwood. I mean, Charles Davis, my partner, folks, he knows who stole the Hope Diamond, kidnapped the Lindbergh baby.
If I knew who stole the Hope Diamond, you and I wouldn't have to work anymore. We'd be good.
2nd and 7. And Lindbergh, half-yard gain on the play. Iguavin, the middle linebacker, with the stop. Gus Johnson, Charles Davis, Christina Pink with you from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. About 20 miles west of Big D. 3rd down 7.
I just stopped the ball.
Empty backfield for Petty.
Look how wide they spread the field with receivers. Look at that. They really force you to defend every inch.
Here's Petty. Underneath, caught. Goodley. And a first down. A flag on the play as Goodley gets up to the 45.
Our colleague at Fox, Terry Bradshaw, has been saying for years, the toughest route and the best route. Crossing routes. Hard to defend. The best plays tonight by Antoine Goodley have been those shallow crosses where he catches it and turns into a running back after the catch.
Pass interference. Number 23, offense. 15-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Wow, Clay Fuller called for interference.
Former baseball player, 4th-round pick of the California Angels, 6 years in the minors before coming back to play college football. 2 brothers played at Texas Tech. Fuller in baseball, right there is what you're going to get. Him blocking before the ball's thrown. Helped clear the way for Goodley. Got detected by the officials, who I think have done a pretty nice job all night tonight in a hard game to officiate.
That makes it 3rd down and 22 at the 15. Baylor needs to get up to their own 37 for first down. And the Bears call timeout. 5:30 to go, 3rd quarter, 49-27. Baylor. 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Baylor, the 5th-ranked team in the nation, down at one time in this game, folks, 20-7. But they scored 21 unanswered points, then came out in the second half after leading by 8 at halftime, and they have turned this game around, and they used the running game to really establish their will on this Texas Tech squad.
It's been very impressive. That was the adjustment at halftime, that they hadn't run it enough. And you'd be surprised looking at their play selections that probably tilts a little bit more towards run than pass this evening, even though the biggest plays have come off the passing game. That offensive line is nasty. Number 68, Cyril Richardson, one of the best in the country.
3rd down and 22 at the 15 for Bryce Petty. Petty sacked on the play. That time, Texas Tech brought the heat. Pete Robertson, the sophomore from Longview, Texas, drops Petty, and Baylor will punt it away.
That's not a good sight, seeing Bryce Petty trying to walk it off. But watch Robertson, number 10. Looks like he's going to be Spencer Drango, number 58. It was looking inside first. And by the time he got his eyes back to Robertson, it was too late. And Robertson goes and gets Bryce Petty and forces the punt. Good series for Texas Tech on D.
So Baylor will punt out of their own end zone. This is their 4th punt of the game. Spencer Roth, no pressure. That's a knuckleball. Jacobson going to field it, has it in midfield with a lane, flag on the play. Jacobson up the far sideline, but we'll see if this stands. Looks like it won't.
Looked like whoever the gunner was downfield got swallowed up by some white shirts in the back, didn't it?
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 36, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Just look to the right of Jacobson. Fields it, and right there, clearly right there, you see the push.
That's Thierry Nguma.
Backup cornerback. Sets them back after a huge return by Jacobson.
And the Texas Tech offense takes over at their own 37. Under 5 to go in the third quarter. Baker Mayfield, quarterback draw. Flag on the play, though.
Holding, number 65, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It's Baylon Brown, who started at right guard today for Bo Carpenter, out with a concussion.
He's a true freshman, and they decided to continue. They burned his red shirt a few weeks ago, so they decided, look, if we burn a red shirt, he's got to go ahead and get some experience. And right now, the defensive front of Baylor is winning a lot of the battles and forcing Texas Tech into penalties.
First down and 20 at the 27. Mayfield handing it off to Washington. Washington breaks the tackle. They'll get up to the 40-yard line, past the original line of scrimmage. That's a 12-yard gain. Sean Oakman, a kid that they're really talking about in Baylor. He's 6'9", 270, a sophomore.
Yeah, he's talking about someone who looks the part now. The Penn State transfer. Oh, my goodness. When you see him, you just think football player.
11th in FBS in tackles per loss with 12 on the year. 2nd and 8 at the 39. Mayfield dancing in the pocket. Trying to create, throws it downfield. And caught by Jakeem Grant. Inside the Baylor 20. A 41-yard gain.
One thing about Baker Mayfield, he's got moxie, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
And how about that big throw and Grant making a play on the football?
Here's a handoff to Washington. And DeAndre Washington crawling forward. Sam Hall holds on.
He knew this was coming and delivered anyway. Was that Jamal Palmer, I believe, 92, who was in the grill of Baker Mayfield? Look at him, stayed focused all the way. Watch the completion of it from his backside.
Dylan Cantrell comes into the game for DeAndre Washington. So an extra receiver comes in. No running backs. It's Dale Foster. And Bradley Marquez is at the bottom of your screen. Here's Mayfield over the middle for Amaro. That one thrown high. He was open.
Get the sense Baker Mayfield after that last big play might have been a little bit too juiced up on that pass. That one required a little bit of touch, and Jason Morrow's still running. That one, he threw a pretty good heater on the play. Got a little pressure from Eddie Lackey, number 5, but still.
3rd down and 9 of the 19. Here come the Bears on the blitz. They look in the corner. Touchdown! Reginald Davis. Fourth touchdown pass of the night for Baker Mayfield.
Let's just make this one simple. That could not have been thrown any better. So how many people didn't offer him a scholarship? They probably should be rethinking that as they watch him play.
Unbelievable. Extra point is good. Tech still fighting. 2:45 to go in the third. 49-34.
You talk about right in the bucket. That was phenomenal. Cliff Kingsbury's thinking, you know, I threw some pretty passes in my time. I don't know if I threw any prettier than that. But he loves what he's getting out of the young freshman quarterback. 2 of them he has that he's played this year. And as he told us, Gus, when you're coaching those youngsters, it really forces you to take care of the basics, leave no stone unturned, and don't assume anything. He coached Case Keenum at Houston. He said, that's pretty much just go play, Case. 6-year guy at that point. Got it. These kids, they force you to coach.
So with 2:45 to go in the third, Tech will send it away. 900 combined yards of offense and 12 touchdowns. Video game statistics. Levi Norwood back deep. He'll start inside his own 5. And out of bounds close to the 30. And let's check in with Patrick O'Neill for a game break in Los Angeles.
All right, Gus, a third quarter. Gus and Charles, back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Patrick. You have to give Ed Orgeron, the head coach now, the interim head coach at USC, a lot of credit for what he's done with that team.
Really revived their spirit. They played so much better in a pitched battle with one of the top teams in the country right now.
On first down shot, Linwood running. And let's see if the touchdown rejuvenates this Texas Tech defense, especially the defensive line, because Baylor has had their way with them running the football in the second half.
What Cliff Kingsbury's thinking, and Matt Waller said, the defensive coordinator, 3 and out, guys. 3 and out keeps our momentum going.
Petty on the play fake. Petty throws it up the sideline. Caught! That time, Goodley held on to the football.
This may have been the toughest catch he's had tonight. Watch how he fights past Tanner Jacobson and cuts inside. It's been the story of the night for defensive backs. They don't locate the football. The receivers do, and they go make a play on the ball and turn it into a big play.
48-yard gain. Norwood in space. And Norwood knocked out of bounds at the 20. Justin Nelson knocks him out of bounds. The freshman.
And we got another injury for Texas Tech because Keenan Ward, the safety, comes off the field. Dorian Crawford, number 16, has run out to replace him, and he doesn't have a lot of experience this year.
And the Bears back to the groundwork. Shock Linwood. And he picks up a first down.
Tell you how deep they've gone into the secondary, Gus. Dorian Crawford, 0 statistics on the year. Number 16 for Texas Tech, now playing safety.
First and 10 at the Texas Tech 14-yard line. Linwood. Trying to drag the pile. A 3-yard gain on 2nd and 6. So that brings up 3rd and 3.
How about this offensive line of Baylor and what they've put together? Stephon Huber, as a 5th-year senior, had to patiently wait his chance to become a starter here in his last year on campus. Cyril Richardson's an All-American at left guard.
Linwood running, picks up the first down as he crawls to the 2.
And you notice where they ran it. Right over the All-American Richardson, number 68 at left guard. He moves the pile like few do in college football.
First down and goal of the 2. Linwood diving. Did he get in? And they'll say he's short of the goal line.
Look at him. Look at Richardson just knocking back Will Smith, number 7. There's a leap by Linwood. He carved enough of a crease. Robertson does a nice job keeping him from getting in. It was close.
Second down, goal at the 1. And Petty runs it himself. Touchdown, Baylor. Bryce Petty's 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. And the Bears really racking up the numbers now.
Tight formation. He just waits for a crease. Waits for it. Niver, number 18. The tight end's in the backfield. He just ends up following him in. I think they're going to take a look at it to see if he really got in. Make sure his body wasn't down first. We got to look on Coach Bryle's face. Are they really looking at this? Let's take a look again. Watch Niver, 18. He's going to be the lead, and Petty's trying to follow him. Robertson gets him first. Did he actually get in? That's what they're trying to determine.
10 rushing touchdowns on the season. With his 2 today, if this one stands.
Pete Robertson did a nice job not letting Petty get full momentum back towards the line of scrimmage. That may have held him out of the end zone. And he didn't reach the ball out either. He kept it in his body, so he may not have gotten there. Let's see. And I'm not advocating him reaching out like that. A lot of fumbles occur on the goal line when you're trying to stretch too
After
far.
further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So the touchdown stands for Petty. And Baylor takes a 55-34 lead. Another terrific quarterback for head coach Art Riles. And he's coached some great ones during his time. Extra point for Aaron Jones is good.
Let's go back to University of Houston. He coached him in high school, too. Kevin Cobb at Stephenville High School. Case Keenum at Houston is now the starter for the Houston Texans. Of course, Robert Griffin III, the Heisman Trophy winner. Nick Florence had a massive season last year. And then Bryce Petty, who's been around for a long time at Baylor, came into this season. You know how many passes he'd thrown in his career prior to this season?
Not very many.
14. And now look at him. And he is clearly in the Heisman Trophy discussion and race with the season he's having as a first-year starter at Baylor. Last time I saw him play, truly, his last start before this season was at the USA Football Under-19 World Championships. He played for the USA team, was captain of the team against teams like New Zealand, France, Sweden, Japan, Mexico, and they beat Canada in the finals, and he was a perfect 14 for 14 throwing that day. That was his last start prior to this season. He got his undergraduate degree before his first start at Baylor. That's how long he's been around.
Very patient young man. Let's see how Tech responds as this one is sent out of the end zone. Red Raiders will have it at their own 25. Now, victims of Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines urgently need your help. With your support, the American Red Cross is distributing relief items, repairing and rebuilding shelters, providing health care, clean water, and sanitation. To help victims of the typhoon, please donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief today. Visit redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90999. That's 90999 to make a $10 donation. Red Raiders start at their own 25. Baker Mayfield trying to drop it off and does to Kenny Williams. Williams runs into his own teammate, Shaquem Grant. Eddie Lackey credited with the tackle. And that should take us to the end of the third quarter. And what a quarter it was for the Baylor Bears. 8-point game at halftime. Bears up 56-34. Yards in total offense, and we're starting the fourth quarter. Here's Texas Tech running the football. Williams popped it up, and Baylor may have it. And the Bears have the football. Joe Williams, I think he was on the bottom of the pile. Yes, he was. He comes out with it. But a great play by Ahmad Dixon to strip it.
Notice how he's around the ball a lot. Ahmad Dixon makes plays in the secondary. Big hits, strips the football, recovers fumbles. Their secondary tonight has keyed in on a lot of big plays on defense. And I include Sam Hall in that number, their nickelback, who plays more like a linebacker. But you look across the board, K.J. Morton, Ahmad Dixon, Terrell Burt, Dimitri Goodson, Joe Williams. They have been something, and include Sam Hall in that group.
Baylor starts the fourth quarter, creating a turnover.
Eddie, hurry up!
They're at the Texas Tech 40-yard line, and a timeout called by the Bears.
That took forever to get them out there and ready to roll.
Art Briles, 25th head coach in Baylor history. By the way, folks, we want to wish one of the great coaches in college football history, one of the great characters in college football history, Grant Taft. Coach, we want to wish him a happy birthday. He turned 80 years old this week, November 12th.
Still the head of the American Football Coach Association, based in Waco. And what Art Briles has done here, revived the standard that Coach Taft set at Baylor in winning championships and in winning games. That's what Art Briles was. That's the standard he was up against, and that's what he's starting to equal.
We'll see if Coach Briles is courageous enough to eat the worm. Linwood. First down, Baylor.
And that front continues to move people. Stephon Huber, the center, number 54, is the pivot.
And Petty running this time. Oh, he decides not to get down. He uses that 6'3", 230-pound frame to try to get an extra yard.
Look at the play selection there.
Big boy football for Baylor in the second half. 2nd and 5 at the 24. And it's Devin Chafin. You know, I used to work in Waco, Texas. My first job, Charles. And I'd never heard the term. Back then, I had a chance to go on the Southwest Conference tour.
Yeah.
Meet R.C. Slocum, Texas A&M.
Were they doing the Skywriters tour then? Were you on the plane, or did you have to hop from place to place?
I think I was on one of the planes with him. I don't remember. Here's a handoff. But back then, this was around circa 1990. A Midwest boy like me came to Texas, and I had never heard the term smash mouth football until I got to Texas.
You'd heard 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
That's right.
Yeah, that's Midwest.
4th down and 1 for Baylor. They run it, and
not going to get there.
Will not get it.
Speaking of smash mouth football, that was a case of smash mouth defense by Texas Tech.
13-12 to go. Baylor turns it over on downs. Let's see what Tech can do with the football right after this. Fox College Football is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. By USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. And by ADT, always there. All right, let's take a look at the Buick game summary.
We got Baylor down 14-zip to start, and then you see what happened then. 36 straight games of 400 more yards, longest active streak at FBS. And how about Texas Tech? 8th straight game with 3 or more turnovers.
Eric Ward with the catch, and he'll get to the 29. Taken down by K.J. Morton.
Thing about Tech, we've seen them strike. A lot of time left on the clock.
Pump fake, Mayfield going through his progressions, turns it up, has running room, and goes down at the 34.
You know what I'm thinking for Baker Mayfield after this game? Ice. Yes, cold tub. Plenty of it. He's leaving it all out there tonight.
First down to 10 at the 34. Here's Mayfield. And incomplete. That ball intended for Derek Edwards, a sophomore from Brenham, Texas. And K.J. Morton down. With all the injuries Baylor has suffered over the past couple of weeks, here's one man you don't want to be hurt, especially when you look at the upcoming schedule for the Bears. Next week, they're in Stillwater to take on Oklahoma State.
Danger,
Will Robinson.
And the reason I come up with that is Baylor is having obviously a sensational year. But here's the remaining schedule. You mentioned it, Gus. At Oklahoma State, who smashed Texas in Austin today. TCU, we know, will battle you defensively, but they are scoring deficient this year. And then Texas, That one loss today doesn't knock them out of it. If they can run the rest of the schedule and get down to it, there's where you are. Now you look at the remaining schedules for the other bigs if we're talking about BCS National Championship contention. Let's face it, Alabama, Florida State run the table. They're likely to be the two that are in it. But nothing's easy. Bama has to go to Auburn on November 30th. At Florida, because it's a traditional game, it's a little tougher for Florida State. ACC Championship could pit them against Duke, who jumped on Miami today. Ohio State, they won big today, but they had a real lull and didn't look quite as impressive as they wanted. Really made their coach Urban Meyer upset. Indiana, they should jump on next week. At Michigan, another traditional game, but Michigan's not the normal Michigan. Stanford, locked up with USC now. Cal should be a walkover for them. Notre Dame, November 30th, they get them at home. And then we talk about the schedule for Baylor. At Oklahoma State, at TCU, home for Texas. What I'm concerned about for Baylor, if they survive this one, the number of injuries we've seen, the emotion in this game, turning right around and going to Stillwater will not be easy for them.
A.J. Morton walking off on his own, 2nd and 10 at the 34. Baker Mayfield stepping up again, and this time he won't get away. That's because Bo Blackshear, the sophomore from Waco, Midway High School, comes up with the tackle.
Watch him working inside. He's working Alfredo Morales, number 56. Just beats him on an inside pass rush right up the gut and puts Baker Mayfield down. Bo Blackshear's played a nice game this evening for the Baylor Bears.
3rd down and 15 at the 29 for Tech. They need to go to the 44 for 1st down. Amaro is in the slot at the top of your screen. Mayfield. Stripped. Tech has it. But they will not even get close to a 1st down. Jamal Palmer knocking it out of Baker Mayfield's hands.
This defense is well coached, and they hunt the football. This is not an accident. That's coaching. Great job by Jamal Palmer, racing after the football, and they go for the strip all the time. Secure the quarterback, try and knock the ball free. Same thing with the runner. They work on it constantly in practice. No accidents in those types of plays.
3rd time Mayfield has fumbled the ball tonight. He's lost 1. And Norwood with the fair catch at the 25. So the Baylor offense led by Bryce Petty stepping on the field once again here in the 4th quarter. Last year's contest between these two teams was the 3rd at AT&T Stadium, and it lived up to its billing. Nick Flores combined for 4 touchdowns. Tech quarterback Seth Nagy matched him with 4 of his own. Baylor won an OT. It was the Bears' 2nd consecutive victory over the Red Raiders. Prior to that, Red Raiders had won 15 in a row.
You know, Baylor hasn't won 3 straight over Tech since they won 4 straight, 1984 to 1987.
1st down and 10 to the 25. Petty. Double move and incomplete. Flag on the play. Goodley, the intended receiver. He ran the double move on the near side
and got bailed out because he and Petty didn't have the same connection.
Pass interference, number 24, defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's Bruce Jones.
See, Petty threw the ball on the stop action, and then Goodley continued on the double move that you described. Watch where the ball lands. See that? That's behind him. He's thinking he's on the stop action. Then he took it on upfield. They got bailed out with the call.
1st down at the 40 for the Bears. Linwood, and he'll cross the 45 up to the 47 on the slide.
Shock Linwood. I believe that's short for Rashadrick. And look at that, the ball almost popped out. And his mom started calling him Shock because she heard Shaquille O'Neal called the Shack Attack. She thought, Shock Attack. I like that. Kid was 5 years old and is stuck ever since.
Well, I tell you, what a name for an explosive running back. 25 carries, 165 yards for Shock. He'll run it again. And Shock Linwood gets close to the 45.
So you worked in Baylor, you worked in Wake Up. What was your experience like there?
Well, a couple of thoughts. Chicken fried steak. Best thing I'd ever tasted in my life. Restaurant called Luby's. Best restaurant I've ever been to. Still looking for one of those in New York City.
Good luck with that.
And I saw the greatest football player I've ever seen as a high school kid. A young man by the name of Louis Fight. And people in Waco remember that name. Waco High, played for Johnny Tusa. This kid would run. He could do a backflip into the end zone for a touchdown. I saw it with my own eyes. Coleman with the reception. And Coleman out of bounds to 41.
Sounds like the kind of athlete Art Briles would have loved.
Oh, Coach Briles would have loved Lewis. He was supposed to go to Baylor, but ended up having a change of plans. 2nd and 6 at the 42.
Things are slowing down a little bit for Baylor, being a little more sure with each call, letting the clock bleed a little bit. Get a nice lead, but don't think they're not trying to get more points. They may not say it to you, but behind their minds right now are style points in terms of BCS.
Linwood breaks free, picks up a first down again. And I thought it was interesting the timing of Coach Briles' extension, giving him an extra 10 years on the East Coast. Some rumors started to surface that Daniel Snyder, the head coach of the owner of the Washington Redskins, may have had an interest in Coach Briles to come to D.C. and coach his former pupil, RG3.
Yeah, between that and so many of the college jobs that will come open, it was smart of Baylor's administration, Ian McCall, the athletic director, Kenneth Starr, the president, to get Coach Briles locked up.
Penny looking deep, incomplete. That ball intended for Robbie Rhodes. Justin Nelson there defensively for Texas Tech.
That youngster's growing up well tonight, isn't he? Talk about Justice Nelson, number 31. His first start as a true freshman against this prolific passing attack. And he's done a very nice job out on the corner. His second breakup that I remember this evening. Long, can run, and is showing the coverage ability we kept hearing about that he exhibits in practice every day.
6'2", great size. 2nd and 10 at the 35. Chafin. And he picks up a first down.
You know, after the Oklahoma game, Coach Briles talked about the loss of Lake Seastrunk, Glasgow Martin at running back, Tevin Reese at wide receiver. They played a lot of the game without those three, yet they still pulled away for a big win over Oklahoma. And Coach Briles said, we finally have Big 12 depth. And we're seeing that on display this evening. Look at the two backs tonight. Number 3 back on their roster, Shock Linwood, huge night. Number 4 back, Devin Chafin, has had a very nice night. They have Big 12 depth.
272 rushing yards. Coleman with the catch, a first down and more as he goes down at the 10. Justice Nelson with the tackle.
Yeah, don't think style points aren't a part of it, but this is also built into Art Briles' DNA. When you ask him, every time we're on offense, we expect to score. And he also says, I kind of expect to score every play call we make. So them getting off the gas, them trying to milk it totally, don't think that. They may be more deliberate in their approach right now, but each call is designed to be a dagger trying to get them to the end zone.
First down and goal at the 10-yard line for the Baylor Bears. Linwood, touchdown. So Shock Linwood with his first touchdown this evening. 28 carries, 190 yards, and a touchdown for Shock. Extra point good. 63-34. 7:30 to play in the fourth. The number 5 team started off slowly, but when it's all said and done, Baylor Bears are for real.
How about some of the incredible players on their roster through the years? Donnie Anderson won a Super Bowl with the Packers, a left-footed punter. Byron Bam Morris and Byron Hanspard, two of the better running backs you'll see. Hayden Fry, later great fame as a coach, SMU, Iowa. Of course, Iron Mike Singletary. And the man who really is the standard at Baylor now, the Heisman Trophy winner, Robert Griffin III.
63-34 our score. Baylor with the lead, 7:30 to play in the fourth quarter. This one goes out of the end zone. And we'll take a commercial break. 7:30 to play in the fourth. All Baylor. Fox College Football is sponsored by the new, luxuriously innovative lacrosse from Buick. Let's take a look at the KFC stat comparison brought to you by KFC, the official sponsor of couch gating. KFC plus football equals couch gating.
Baker Mayfield's thrown it 51 times tonight. I wonder how many times he's been hit and dropped on this evening. And now there's a new quarterback in the game, Michael Brewer, who's expected to be the starter when the season began, but a back injury derailed him in camp and put him behind Mayfield and Davis Webb.
Here's Brewer to throw, and he'll go up top looking for Ward, and Ward brings it down but out of bounds. Incomplete the call. And Dimitri Goodson wrapped up with it.
Heck of a battle with Goodson. How would you determine this one if he came down inbounds? See, his feet came down out of bounds. Ward would have had a catch if his feet had come down. Watch his feet. See that? They're out of bounds, nullifying the catch. If he'd come down inbounds, both of them with possession, that would have gone to Eric Ward.
So Brewer, redshirted in 2011. Second down, hands it off. And it's Dale Foster running the ball. Brewer backed up Seth Dagey in 2012. Threw for 375 yards and 4 touchdowns. He had that back injury, as Charles mentioned, this summer. Third down and 8 at the 27. Here's Brewer to throw. Far side. Incomplete. Intended for Bradley Marquez. And Tech will have to punt it away. So Mayfield, solid effort for this walk-on freshman. 28 of 51, 314 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He fumbled it 3 times, lost 1 for Cliff Kingsbury. Erxleben drives this punt. Fair caught at the 25 by Norwood. Now tonight, Fox Sports Live will bring you all the scores and highlights from a full day of college football, college basketball, the NBA, the NHL, plus all the news from around the world of sports. Fox Sports Live is tonight only on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com now. Great time of year, Charles. All the sports going on pretty much except for baseball. And for Baylor, their offense breaking records this year, or trying to.
Look at that. That's the 1944 Army team that averaged 56 points per game. Earl Red Blake is the head coach. Glenn Davis, Mr. Outside. Doc Blanchard, Mr. Inside. Both of them won Heisman trophies. They're trying to beat that mark. And then all the other marks on there. It's a phenomenal year that they're having offensively, but a phenomenal year they're having overall.
Seth Russell comes in at quarterback. Here's Chafin breaking tackles and picks up a first down as he crawls to the 40. Seth Russell in at quarterback. Didn't play last week versus Oklahoma. In his most recent game against Kansas 2 weeks ago, he had his poorest.
And don't think that he's not going to run their offense either. He's not going to come in and just hand off every play. He's going to run what Baylor runs on offense. If it's there, he'll take it and throw it, and he can run it pretty well himself.
As a senior at Garland High School, he was ranked the number 41 quarterback prospect. And Devin Chafin Devin Chafin has shown us a lot tonight. He's really done a terrific job running the football. Prior to that run, 10 carries, 96 yards. Had the big 47-yard touchdown. And remember, Seastrunk is out with a groin injury. Lake Seastrunk. Classico Martin out with a knee injury. Chafin coming in. They were thinking about playing Johnny Jefferson, but they want to save his red shirt. The freshman from Killeen.
And they could also go to Antoine Goodley if necessary to run the football. Looks like they have Anthony Webb in the game now as a running back, number 14.
Baylor in no rush now with 5:10 to go. And here's Russell running. He'll dive forward and get the first down.
The only thing different now for Baylor, we started to see it down the stretch with Bryce Petty, is that they're taking more time between plays, not as up-tempo as normal. 335 yards, 3 touchdowns, two on the ground, rushing for Bryce Petty. Another big-time night for him. But these plays are still designed to get big yards. If it puts them in the end zone, so be it. They'll be very happy with that.
Balance tonight, the key for Baylor, 335 yards passing, 305 yards rushing.
You know, this is their 6th game this year with 60 or more points. The most in college football.
And Webb, enough for another first down for the Bears.
And this is where it's so hard for Texas Tech. Expended a lot of effort. It's very discouraging as you're staring your 4th loss in a row. You notice it takes longer for guys to get up off the ground after the play now. Very difficult to stay in there and continue to slug. That's what Tech's trying to do.
First down at the Texas Tech 41. Baylor very deliberate on offense. Remember, Cliff Kingsbury and Coach Briles were on the same team. Briles, the running back coach for Mike Leach at Texas Tech. And Kingsbury was the quarterback. Webb out of bounds at the 35. Art Briles. Take a look. 2000. Art Briles got his first college coaching job at Texas Tech as a running backs coach. Cliff Kingsbury is the Red Raiders starting quarterback.
And you know who stood on the table and recruited Wes Welker and demanded he get a scholarship?
Art Briles.
Yes. Called him the natural. Staked his whole reputation. Said, you'll like what you get when you get this kid. A lot of naysayers. Knows his talent, doesn't he?
Well, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady would agree with Coach Briles.
Just think, Welker, not many scholarship offers out of high school. Free agent in the NFL.
Cut by San Diego.
Dolphins got rid of him. Guess what? We'll be all listening to his induction speech in Canton.
That's right. He may be a Hall of Famer before it's over. Well, Cliff Kingsbury, 34 years old, got off to a great start, 7-0. But the schedule got rough, and his team has struggled. This will be their 4th straight loss. Russell turns it up with some speed as he hops through the hole and goes down inside the Tech 20. So Coach Kingsbury is next one, November 28th at Texas. Longhorns losing at home this afternoon to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that's Thanksgiving night game.
I guess we'll be there.
Us.
That's right. 63-34. The Baylor Bears with a lot of their second-string players in the game now. Seth Russell has come on for Bryce Petty. Petty with a 300-yard passing game today. Bears have rushed for over 300 and passed for over 300 with the ball at the Tech 18 this game. Interesting start. Texas Tech up 20-7 at one time. 14-0 they started. And it's Russell running. He'll go down at the 11. Inside 2 minutes to go.
So previously I'd said 6 games over 600 yards. This is their 7th game over 600 yards.
So the Bears, with all their injuries, they'll regroup and play maybe their biggest game of the season next week. You have to credit Mike Gundy. I tell you what, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, folks, is a terrific football coach. His team lost to West Virginia earlier this year. He got salty. His quarterbacks weren't playing well. Finally, though, he gave the man that led him last year a legit opportunity to run the team, Clint Chelf, and it's been all rosy from there.
What's been amazing is that Chelf, even while he's played well, has struggled with accuracy around 50%, which is not normal for a quarterback at Oklahoma State. And look at tonight's high-performance players. Jason Morrow, since that big hit that he took, I'm not sure he caught another ball the rest of the night, but showed toughness coming back. Eric Ward, tremendous in the first half. Shock Linwood, how about these last 2 games for him? 372 yards. And Ahmad Dixon, oh yeah, he'll strike you. That won't be a problem at all. He's all over the field as usual for Baylor.
The Baylor Bears, led by this man, Art Briles, 57 years old. His team remains undefeated, 9-0, 6-0 in Big 12 play. Bryce Petty with another terrific game, and Baylor defeats Texas Tech 63-34. The number 5 team in the nation continues to roll. OK State next in Stillwater. Welcome back. After a slow start, the Baylor Bears turn it on and end up defeating Texas Tech 63-34 to remain undefeated. Gus Johnson along with Charles Davis. They were off to a slow start, down 14-0, down 20-7, but when it got real, this Baylor Bear team showed why they're so good.
And what's amazing about it is, as you mentioned, down 20-7, they turned it around with a special teams, punt return, and defense. Talking about Baylor. This team, in my humble opinion, can play with anyone in the nation. Now I'm talking Alabama, Florida State, Ohio State. Baylor can play with anyone in the nation, especially led by their offense with Bryce Petty.
One man that would agree with you, Charles, is the head coach of the Baylor Bears, Art Briles, and he met with Christina Pink.
Coach, over 300 yards through the air, over 300 yards on the ground. What makes this offense so efficient?
You know, I mean, we played with a lot of passion tonight. I thought Texas Tech really came out ready to play, and I thought we really showed a lot of maturity as a football team, withstanding that storm early and just staying calm and just trusting what we're doing. And, you know, we just got to keep executing, keep playing. We're playing good defense. We're playing good offense. Our special teams are great tonight with the punt return.
Coach, this was a very physical game, and you got a lot of players that are nicked up right now. Yeah. How will that impact you going into Stillwater next weekend?
Well, you know, we'll just have to lick our wounds and see where we're at tomorrow, and then, you know, try to get a game plan ready for next Saturday. That'll be a lively atmosphere down there. So it's going to be another big game. We've had 2 or 3 of them in a row here.
All right, congrats on the win. Thank you, Coach.
So, Baylor with a huge performance from Bryce Petty. He throws for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Norwood with 2 touchdown receptions and a punt return for a touchdown. Linwood rushed for 190 yards. Chafin over 100 yards rushing and 2 scores as well. For Christina Pink, Charles Davis, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Jerry's World, where the Baylor Bears continue to sickle 63-34.